All right, House Divided, episode 5. We got the man himself, Crocs, joining us. He's
Welcome,
smiling.
Croc.
So introduce yourself. Talk a little bit about yourself.
All right. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Harrison Croxford, aka Harry, aka Greasy, whatever you want to call me. I have known the both of these two since at least 2017 with the Ronald Reagan. Arcos, our wonderful person here, is the godfather of my son Christopher. Same name.
Shout out, little Chris. That's my boy.
Yes, sir. And if you can't tell by the terrible hat that I'm wearing, the terrible jersey, and the terrible, wonderful flag right there, I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And the backstory with that is a long time ago in the 70s or 80s, there was a little kid that just watched the football one day and said, I like the color black and yellow on that uniform. And that little kid just so happened to be my wonderful stepfather. And because of that little kid, I have anger issues today. So here we are.
Yeah, that's got to strain the relationship a little bit. You said you could have picked anybody.
You could have picked anybody, but
Philadelphia's right there, right?
it was. But
All right. So I also want to ask you guys, because we kind of debriefed a little bit about topics, talked a little bit about topics and stuff like that we wanted to talk about. Is there anything in particular after this week that you guys, that's been on your mind about this NFL week that you really want to get off your chest here?
Honestly, man, I'm on this Daniel Jones wave, man. I think my boy gonna get comeback player of the year. I mean, you guys, I talked to you guys personally. You guys know I always believed in Daniel Jones when he was with us. I did. I was like, you know what? He's got it. And then, it didn't work out. It is what it is. But, I'm happy for the guy. I really am. I think he's comeback player of the year. I think, dude, Jonathan Taylor, fucking 3 touchdowns. That defense is insane right now. I think they can make a deep run, dude. Like, that's the team that's shocking me right now. I think we need to touch on that a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Call me crazy. I mean, again, like, opinions change week by week as it does with the NFL. But I have the Colts winning the AFC as it stands right now. I don't see a single team in the AFC stopping them. Literally Daniel Jones, comeback player of the year, possible MVP candidate as well, if not for Jonathan Taylor, top 3 running back in the NFL. And then Pittman's having a comeback year himself. You have Tyler Warner who says screw it. But I mean, yeah, I have the Colts as my AFC winner for now until anything else changes.
I wish that there was a time machine so that I could record this conversation and go back to week 1 preseason and then send it to you guys and be like, guys, this is what's going to happen 5 weeks from now. And the Ravens are going to be 1-4 and the Chiefs are going to lose to the Jags on a last second touchdown in Monday Night Football. And you're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? If COVID-19 was a football season, it would be this year. But my take right now is that Baker Mayfield's the MVP of the NFL. Baker Mayfield's the best. Baker Mayfield might be the best football player in the NFL right now. The dude's balling out. He's got a supporting cast. Doing it, by the way, Emeka Egbuka turned out to be an even better draft pick than he already was, not just because of his talent, but because now with Mike Evans out, they have two guys that are just as good. They haven't missed a single step. The offense is looking good. Now you have Rachaad White and Bucky Irving both putting up numbers. And when Bucky was out, Rachaad White's covering with no problem. Offensive line looks absolutely fantastic and are finally healthy. And that defense, that's the most underrated defense in the NFL. I don't hear anybody talking about the Buccaneers defense when you talk about defenses in the NFL. And I'm going to tell you what, that unit, that's a great defense, man. That defense has played well all year. The only team that they've really given up a bunch of touchdowns to, or the only team that put up a bunch of points against them was really the Eagles, but their offense only put up 24 points because we had the blocked punt. So that's a team that's going to be there at the end of the year. And I got to be honest, as an Eagles fan, I don't really want to see them at the end of the playoffs. I don't want to see them in the playoffs, especially with that heater he's on.
I did touch on that week 2. That, the Bucks got Vita Vea. That's great line right there. They got Lavonte David. They got Yaya. They got, I want to say Witherspoon. On their secondary, the secondary's been all right. You know what I mean? Like, they're a little hit or miss here and there, but all around they have been playing really good football. You mentioned it. Godwin was out, and then Evans was out. Ibuka came. But hey, even this week, what's his name? Sterling Shepard. He had a good touchdown. But like you said, Rachaad White 1 for 2. Yeah, I think they're good. I just want to touch real quick. We were talking about Daniel Jones. Week 5, man. His completion percentage is 71%. He's at 1,290 yards right now. 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's having himself a game. Now, let me go over to Baker. I'm sorry, you guys go ahead. I just wanted to bring. I didn't know if he had a turnover yet.
So let's just talk about that game. The Colts made the Raiders quit on defense, and that's a unit that team that if there's one unit in the NFL that has never quit through all the ups and downs, it was the Raiders defense, because Max Crosby, them guys, they would rally. They always tried to fight to the last fucking second, ticks off the clock. They fucking quit. I have never seen Max Crosby play that lazy, and you know what? I don't blame him, because Geno Smith is really that bad right now. That's just the reality that we live in. There's no excuse with that offense. There is enough talent around him. Now, for some reason, Jainty's got the talent. Jainty's legit. Here's the problem. We talked about this every week so far, and I'm going to continue to hit on this. The Raiders' pass blocking offensive line is solid. When it comes to run blocking, every play starts 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Ashton Jainty's looking like Barry Sanders out there. Ashton Dainty is looking like Barry out there just running for his. I mean, dude, it's like the scene from fucking Prince of Egypt when the baby basket's going through the fucking crocodiles every time this guy is running the football. But then pass blocking, Geno's got all day and then lobs a fucking pick right to a defensive lineman. Like, what are we doing here? What's happening?
Yeah, so definitely Geno. I want to say Geno's leading the league with nine interceptions so far. Let me just check. Yeah, 9 interceptions. So that's insane. Yeah, they benched Daniel Jones with like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They were killing it. But I think as far as that, Jonathan Taylor, man, he fucking, he's back to his form how he was before he honestly got hurt. And he's I think Crocs mentioned it. He's probably going to be one of the top running backs again. And he is year for year if he's healthy. You know what I mean? That team is just stacked all around too.
Yeah, I mean, when you have JT in the backfield, and then, I mean, again, the options that the Colts have in offense are just tremendous, because you can literally throw the ball anywhere and someone's going to catch it, or you just hand it off to JT and it's automatic.
Wait, what's his name? The Warren.
Tyler Warren. Yeah, he's insane. And then going back to the whole Geno thing, like, it's Kenny Pickett time, plain and simple. Like, that's, I mean, I was one of those people that was delusional about the man when he first came into my team. And then he left and won a Super Bowl, because that's what everybody that leaves the Steelers does. But if you lead the league in interceptions, and Geno is clearly not having a good time at all, like, at some point you got to switch it up. I think he gets benched within the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe sooner.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with that I'm thinking though is, I have a good friend of mine who's a Raiders fan, which again, I have Raiders fans, I have some Jags fans here. We got, being around the Jacksonville area, there's a lot of people who are fans of different teams that I'm friends with, meeting at the bar and stuff like that I would like to have on to talk about this stuff more in depth, because they follow those teams as well. So I'm going to try to get coverage of as many teams as we possibly can. But, he was talking about that too. And here's what I'm thinking though. Why? Because even if Kenny Pickett goes out and plays as a league average quarterback, like, do you really want to barely miss the playoffs, go like 6-11, and then jeopardize your ability to get a better pick next year? Because if I really think about this is a Jayden Daniels situation. And what I mean by that is that the Washington Commanders had a lot of talent. They were just a quarterback away from being a pretty good team. Don't get me wrong, what Jayden Daniels did was very impressive, and he was far beyond what anybody expected him to even do, right? But at the same time, that wasn't a terrible team. That was just a team that didn't have a quarterback. I look at this Raiders team the same way. They have defense. They have enough defense to be able to do well if they have a quarterback who can keep the offense on the field and put together some drives. They have a good running back. They have the best tight end in football. They have a serviceable receiving core that can get better. And coaching-wise, Pete Carroll, I don't think is a bad coach. But what can you really do when your quarterback's doing what he's doing, right? And the thing is that Kenny Pickett's not a longevity answer. He's going to be a Band-Aid on top of a gunshot wound. So really what I think is you just tank this season. There are some promising quarterbacks. I don't think Nussmeier is going to be a good quarterback out the gate, but Castellanos from Florida State's showing a lot of promise, right? Like, there's some players out there you can go get that will actually make this team markedly better next season, because this year, regardless, they're not competing for anything legitimate. If they can't even do well in the AFC West, which is the most inconsistent division in football right now. So what
I just want to touch on that. I think it's bigger than that. Like you said, Pete Carroll, he came in and they gave Geno the bag. They gave him the bag, man. They acquired most of the Seahawks contract. What I'm saying, he's 2 years, 75 mil. I don't see that working, man. If they lose this week to the Titans, which is very, very possible, I can see him getting benched, 100%.
Yeah. And at least it's not a Kirk Cousins situation, though, where you're taking like $100 million dead money. Like, they can afford to get rid of him and do what the Broncos did last year. Fuck Russ. Get him out of there. We'll take the dead cap space and look at where they are now, right? They're playing pretty decent football, right? So I really think that the Raiders, this should be a tank season. This should be a tank season. It's got tank written all over it because you know what? You got guys who are young enough, have a couple more years on the contract. You have most of your guys locked up, barring like Jacoby Myers. And I don't see him leaving. And I know that they probably want him to stay because he's been a pretty decent wide receiver with the I'm going to be honest, like I think the guy's got a lot of talent, but look at the quarterback play that this dude's had to deal with. I mean, he's no Megatron, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, with the people that he's dealing with throwing the ball to him, I mean, what's the guy supposed to do?
This is a contract year for Myers. This is his final year.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, I remember last year they were talking about extending him when the year before, when Devontae Adams left. I saw last year they were talking about extending him. They wanted to extend him right away, but I can see teams offering him something. Like you said, I mean, obviously you got Genty, he's going to be there. You got Brock Bowers still on a rookie contract. You extended Matt Crosby. The pieces are there. I don't even know. And I honestly can't even speak to you about college quarterbacks because I don't even know. I was high on Arch, but I don't even know how I feel about him anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Didn't Jacoby Myers request a trade away from the team at the beginning of the season? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They were negotiating a contract. The numbers weren't where he wanted them to be, but he wanted to be a Raider, and they wouldn't give him what he really wanted contractually. So he ended up taking a little bit of a hit to stay. But I think after this season, if they have a decent offseason, I mean, why wouldn't he want to stay? Where else would he go where he'd be able to get as many opportunities to catch the ball as in Las Vegas right now?
Yeah, I mean, very true. I mean, especially if you're considered the top receiver of the team. But at the same time, I mean, look what Amari Cooper came into that building for 5 minutes and said, "No, I don't need to be here, and I'm going to retire." So,
yeah, I mean, and look, like you said, the Colts are the best team in the AFC right now. I mean, that's really all there is to it. And it's not like, oh, well, they beat some bad teams. No, they didn't just beat some bad teams. They fucking beat them into submission. I mean, they made these teams quit. I mean, and then you see Danny Jones. That throw to Pittman in the back of the end zone was probably the most impressive pass I've seen this year. He's on the run, throws against his body into a window, I mean, that is tighter than coin slot coochie, and this dude puts it right in the dude's hands. I mean, look, he's doing things that are repeatable and consistent. That's the thing I look for. Is this team legit? I think about how they're winning. I think about the things that they're doing. Can you consistently do that every week? Can you rely on that? And yes, you can rely on solid quarterback play, a guy who's willing to take risks, and they're paying off because he has the talent to do it, but he also has the talent around him to succeed. And I think Tyler Warren was one of the best draft picks of this year. Guy looks great. He has the most receiving yards through 4 weeks of any rookie and of any rookie tight end in history. And honestly, he's going to have a Brock Bowers season, and it couldn't have come at a better time because that defense went from 24th in the league, and right now they're ranked 14. So that everything's in motion right now for the Colts to go ahead and take it up because that AFC is usually super competitive. This year, it's completely wide open. Anybody can really win that conference. And I don't think that the Ravens are really going to be able to turn this around in time to compete with the Colts. Look, the Colts are hot, and I don't think it's going to stop.
Lamar's out for a few weeks, so that's going to hurt him.
Yeah, Lamar being out probably another 2 weeks at most. If they can't get a win out of one of those two, they're in some serious trouble because then you're talking about being 1-6 or 2-5, and at that point you really got to turn around. But you still have to play the AFC North, and it doesn't. In the AFC North, historically, when you play each other, the records do not matter. It is blood for blood, and the game goes anywhere. Lamar Jackson cannot win in Pittsburgh for a reason. And if they can't pull it together in other AFC North battles against Joe Flacco of the Bengals now, that was the news earlier. And,
I like that. I do.
Yeah, I did. he's going to retire after this season with that O-line not protecting him.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of elder abuse, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, but and then the Browns, the Browns are just going to be the Browns. I mean, 1-4, they're not going to go anywhere. Plain and simple.
Dude, that defense is solid though, man. I don't know. I like Dillon Gabriel's first game. I did. I was talking shit on the guy, but I liked his first game. You know what I mean? So will he turn him around? Probably not. Will he be fun but frisky? I think so.
He's the left-handed Kyler Murray, bro. To be honest with you, that's how I feel about it.
I like that. Did you like game one?
I think that the accuracy is there. He looks like a Kyler Murray stature player mixed with like Tua. He's got good solid throwing mechanics. He's a pretty accurate passer. He's not afraid to take the check down. Thing is, after one game, can we really tell? No, but he did better than I expected. And hey, they put up 17 points, which is something that they still haven't put up a 20-plus point game, but they got pretty damn close. And look, at this point, I think give Gabriel a couple weeks, give Shedeur a couple weeks, just start throwing shit and see if something sticks. Because right now, look, what do you have to lose? Because again, this isn't a team that's thinking we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. So get your guys some experience. That defense, sadly enough, is playing. I mean, that's a top 5 defense. They're not giving up points. They just can't score, and that's why I'm shocked that Myles Garrett signed with that team, because he's one of those guys that 31 teams in the NFL would sign him tomorrow and do whatever it takes to get him. He signed, and look, I get the money. He's the highest paid non-quarterback of all. I get it, but is it really worth it when you're holding teams to 21 or less points and your offense hasn't scored one 20-point game through 5 weeks? I don't think it's worth the frustration, especially after he said he wants to play for a winner.
So hey, let's talk about that game. Dillon Gabriel was just under 50%. He went 19 for 33, threw for 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think that's a pretty solid start. You know, your first game. But dude, I'm liking this Judkins guy, man. He rushed for 100 yards.
Ooh, yeah.
110. Judkins looks like he's got some life to him, dude. Once they get this ball rolling, I think they can actually do something. And Njoku had a pretty solid game. Finally, Jerry Jeudy, we know what he's capable of. Will they use him? Who knows? You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say they're anything. Yeah, I'm not gonna say they're anything crazy, but hey, you know, fun but frisky.
I mean, yeah, they're a team that are fun to watch. Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy,
Go ahead.
yeah, as a fantasy owner of Jerry Jeudy, I want to know where he is, because he's clearly not on the field. Like he hasn't received more than 50 yards a game, maybe once. Maybe the opening week, I think he had like 87 yards or something like that off of 2 or 3 receptions. But Joe Flacco just did not throw to him. And I mean, I thought that Dillon Gabriel would throw to him a little bit more than Flacco did, but that really wasn't the case. But who knows? I mean, Jerry Jeudy's there, and I mean, he was listed at wide receiver 1 for a reason, so might as well use him. But you have Judkins and Njoku, which highly impressive on all ends. So, I mean, I guess if you don't need to use him, I guess don't. But at some point, like, stretch out the field.
I don't know why people struggle so much to get Jerry Jeudy the ball. The guy's an incredibly talented receiver. He's the type of guy that can win the 50-50 balls. He's pretty physical with yards after catch. For some reason, whenever Jameis Winston's throwing on the ball, it's like Joe Montana to Jerry Rice. But outside of that, nobody else can get this dude the ball. And I just don't understand why. Because even in Denver,
it didn't work out in Denver.
And the thing is even in Denver, he had that talent. But and Cortland Sutton was another guy who could have been the best wide receiver in the NFL. You know what I mean? At any given season, he could have had the best numbers. I mean, that guy is incredible, right? And just for some reason, these are the type of guys like even Amari Cooper who would quietly have 1,000-yard seasons. These guys are capable of 1,600 plus yards. But for some reason, the offensive schemes that they find themselves in, they're just not able to get the ball that much. And look, like, you know, the Vikings are starting to, you know, they're sneaking some wins in there with Carson Wentz and all that stuff. I mean, they have so much talent on offense. That's a team that really, like, you have all this talent. It really shouldn't have come down to that last second Addison touchdown. You know, they should really be stretching the field against these teams because you have, you know, you also have Hawkinson, you have Aaron Jones, you know, you have Jordan Mason. Like this team has so much talent. I mean, they're up there with the Eagles in offensive talent. I mean, they're right there. Honestly, I think their tight end is better. I think their running back tandem so far has been better than the Eagles. I think that their wide receiving core is definitely better right now just because Justin Jefferson can have me throwing him the ball and still get 1,500 yards in a season, it seems like. So, you know, the Vikings, the Vikings did what they had to do to win this game, and you can't argue that because, look, that Browns defense really is that good. But if you have a guy at quarterback, again, with the Browns, same thing with the Raiders, if they can keep that offense on the field, get some drives going, you have enough talent to be able to run some clock, control the ball a little bit more. The pieces are there for them to start winning games. The problem is that by the time they get that rhythm, it's going to be too little too late. There's just not, and that division is not as wide open as people like to act like, because look, Pittsburgh's the healthiest team in that division right now, the most consistent team in that division right now. And honestly, I don't see, there's so many things going wrong with the teams below them. I just don't see like anything beyond a catastrophic injury. I don't really see anything changing for Pittsburgh because that defense is incredible as well. Maybe the best in the NFL right now overall, because they're not relying on turnovers. They're not, relying on anything crazy. The only team they really gave up points to was the Jets, who clearly have an offense that's putting up points in general. So I don't know. If I'm a Brown, if I'm a Bengal, if I'm even the Ravens, it's, why should we fight, sign guys, and do all these things to turn this shit around when what is the end goal here? To win one playoff game at the very, very, very best, if we even get there? Look, just keep it going. Start looking in the draft class. See guys that you like, start figuring out what the holes and gaps in your team are, because no one wants to get traded to Cleveland. They can't get free agents. No one wants to sign there. So that's the problem that they constantly have. So yeah, there's things that are promising though. Judkins absolutely has the talent to be a top level running back in this league.
So you mentioned the Eagles. Let's segue over to that game. What are your thoughts as an Eagles fan?
I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. There was a hypothetical, right? I said Jalen Hurts can throw the ball 40 times every game, get almost 300 yards, some touchdowns, no interceptions, but we're going to lose because that's not the play style that we play. AJ cries. I understand where he's coming from, though. I don't think he's a crybaby. Eagles fans, I'm starting to understand more and more as time goes on why people hate Eagles fans so much, because we lose one game in the last 11 months, and people are like, oh, AJ's a fucking crybaby, dude. Send him to Houston. He'll get 12, 13 catches a game, and he'll go win 2 games a year. Like, look. He's a guy who knows how good this offense is and what it's capable of. He's frustrated because they want to be great. I don't want to win games by 3 points if I'm the Eagles. I want to win games by 23 points. I understand where he's coming from. However, shut the fuck up, because here's the reality of it. The reality of it is that Hurts threw the ball 40 times this game. 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 63% completion percentage, over 100 quarterback rating. And A.J. Brown is giving up on routes. Jahan Dotson isn't keeping his feet down. Saquon Barkley has an illegal shift. But yet I still had an argument with one of your friends. I gotta look up what his name was again. For like an hour and a half going, if you look down the comments, and he's like, you're an idiot. You don't know ball. Jalen holds onto the ball too long. Jalen Hurts had the best game of his entire season, and the Philadelphia Eagles only scored 17 points and lost. We abandoned the run game when it was working. We had 7 yards per carry on Saquon Barkley. The reality of the situation is the play style of our team calls for a certain type of play because it works and it's risk averse. There's no reason to force interceptions. I'm happy we lost because it proved that my hypothetical situation is exactly true. Jalen Hurts could throw for 4,000 yards every year, but that turns a 14-win team into a 10-win team into possibly even an 8 or 9-win team. There's an identity that we have. He's good at spreading the ball around, and A.J. Brown needs to run block a lot. And he's going to have to get used to that, because even in this game where they were force-feeding A.J. Brown, he still only had 5 catches for 43 yards and was the 3rd leading receiver on the Eagles this game. So hopefully this has a reset. Also, Saquon Barkley started a meeting with Jalen Hurts, Saquon, and A.J. They sat and had some talks for a couple hours about things that were going on, because there was clearly some kind of tension between the two, even though they were very good friends. I think that it's a bad week to be a Giant, and I'm not just saying that to talk shit to you. This team is pissed off. They just came off a win that they knew they should have had. And I don't want to hear shit about the Goddard call, because it should have never come down to that. If you're this championship team, you keep that 14-point lead and you keep your foot on their neck. So they needed this loss. I'm not upset about it. I'm happy because it proved I was right, but it doesn't matter. Jalen had a great game.
Let's talk about that. What's Barkley averaging? Like 50 yards a game, 40 yards a game, something like that? Like that's also a big hit to you guys, you know what I mean? Like that's really what you guys relied on last year. Hey man, I'm hoping for a good game tomorrow. Thursday night football at MetLife. You know, I'm hoping for a good game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Slam
All
the
right,
over
so
on
I'm gonna
Saquon.
chime in. I'm gonna come in real quick. Let's take a look about all these Eagles games that have happened this year. Opening against the Cowboys, 24-20, one-score game. Chiefs, 2017, one-score game. Rams, 33-26, but before the field goal that was blocked and taken to the house, it was a one-score game at the end of the game.
It's been
Buccaneers,
saying it every week.
31-25,
They're not
one-score
playing
game.
good.
So, well, okay. So for me with the Eagles, I see the frustrations with, what everyone's talking about with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and everything that's being frustrated. The moment that it clicks and they all start getting the ball again, I feel like is when this one-score game shit is not going to happen as much as it is right now. Because every single game of the season has been a one-score game. And
Watch it be this fucking week.
that is that for me. If I'm an Eagles fan, that's concerning. And you're going to figure that out in week. What week is this? Week 11, Detroit Lions. If you can keep a one-score game against the Detroit Lions, then good for you. Congratulations. But a Lions offense like that is putting up stupid points. I don't know. I mean, you gotta separate that gap on offense when it comes to points. And if it's continuing to be one-score games throughout the season, I don't see how that's going to last against these top-tier teams.
Well, and that's the thing with this team is this is why I'm not. First of all, I'm not going to hit the panic button on any team that's 4-1 in the NFL. I'm not going to do that. At the same time, all these one-score games, I agree. But if you look in the past 2 years, that's been the identity of our team. And for me, the nucleus of a championship-winning team in the NFL is a team that can grind out wins in one-score games. If you consistently win those one-score games, that means if the game's close, then the game's actually favored towards you. Let's say it's 17-17 at the start of the fourth quarter. The odds are actually about 55 to 60% in favor of the Eagles to win that game. And I think that's a positive thing because look at those teams that you just mentioned, right? Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Cowboys. What do they have in common? They're all teams that have scored a good amount of points. They're winning games for the most part, right? And they win a lot of one-score games. They beat up on bad teams, but they win one-score games, but not to the Eagles. When that team, we're 4-1, and it's not like we haven't played anybody yet. Like, we've played good teams. Like, that Chiefs team, yeah, they lost to the Jags, but the Jags are a good team. Like, right now, the Jags are a good team. Like, so the Cowboys putting up numbers against everybody but the Eagles defense, right? So I feel like our defense is incredibly good. They're not top 5 right now, but they are a top 10 defense, right? I feel like our offensive line is graded in the low to mid 20s in every single statistic that you can possibly bring up right now. You have A.J. Brown who's slumping. You have Saquon Barkley who was averaging 3 yards per carry, and this team is 4-1. So when things get clicking, when things start to get clicking, who is going to beat this team? What team in the NFL is going to beat this team? And we have to remember, this is the 5th straight different offensive coordinator in 5 years. If Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator again this year, would we even be having this conversation? We have a guy who's the first-time offensive coordinator in the NFL. It's the 5th straight different offensive coordinator Jalen Hurts has had. And despite all of that with the Super Bowl hangover and the shorter offseason, this team is 4-1 heading into Week 6. Look, there's a lot of alarms. There's a lot of alarm bells that you can look at. There's a lot of things that are kind of starting to be a little concerning. However, it's not like the Broncos are a bad team. The Broncos are a playoff team, right? So they're going to be there in January. So the reason I don't feel so bad about this is because they start slow every year because they don't have any kind of synergy or any kind of connection with the offensive coordinator, and that's and of course the offense is the thing that looks rough every year. The defense has stayed consistent with Vic Fangio. They've played very good. They've played sustainable football that they can use throughout the entire year, and they get stops when they need to get stops, regardless of how many points they give up. They needed to get stops against the Rams. Again, another good team. Got the stops when we needed to, went right down the field and scored touchdowns. So if things don't change over the next 4 weeks, I don't love that, but out of the next 5 to 6 weeks, I see this team easily being 4-2 or 5-1 in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So, with the offensive coordinator situation, if Patullo can we start to change things up, we start to get an idea of the identity that we want to have on offense. We're just figuring out who we are right now, and I think we have a rubric for success over a long term. But yeah, I mean it's concerning right now for sure, but I'm not going to be that concerned when we're 4-1. That's just how I feel about it personally.
Enough about these birds. Let's dissect the horrible Giants game. Let's touch on our teams and then go from there. Started off great. I started off great. I love the Jackson Dart Theo Johnson connection. I can't say much. And then obviously there's not much to talk about this game. You had an 87-yard deep ball. Our secondary has been horrible. We signed Holland, we signed Debo, trying to help out our secondary. And I think I saw today that one was ranked 114, the other one was ranked like 140 in PFF rankings. Horrible. It's not working out. At the end of the day, you saw it. We're in the end zone. They said it themselves. You're not gonna win a game if you turn over the ball 5 times. It doesn't matter if the team is fucking 0-4 or 4-0. NFL teams have talent. Jackson Dart threw 2 interceptions. Obviously, yes, Malik Neighbors is hurt. That definitely took a big hit. Cam Scatterbo had a fumble. Jackson Dart, man, he had a fumble where he just dropped the ball. Nobody even touched him. It just came out of his hands. You know what I mean? Kid's a rookie. It is what it is. That game, horrible. We honestly fumbled that game, quite literally and figuratively, no pun intended. We fucking lost that game ourselves, turning the ball over 5 times. I don't even want to talk about that anymore. This week we play the Eagles. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. I just want to keep seeing growth. I guess that's all I'm going to say about the Giants. Yeah, take it away, Steelers.
So I just wanted to say,
I wish I could say more. I wish.
I just wanted to say, how poetic is it that last podcast exactly 1 week ago from today, or it was 6 days. I think it was Thursday. We were saying the Saints might not win a single game this whole year. This is one of the worst teams we've ever seen. And then here come the New York Football Giants, blowing an 11-point lead to a team that has no quarterback. I mean, Make-A-Wish Foundation Central New Orleans branch. And they just still come back and win. Look, Kamara's that good, man. Kamara is that good, bro. You could put Kamara on Florida State and put him in the NFL, and that dude's good. I mean, look, you guys shot yourself in the foot. Not having Malik Neighbors doesn't help. However, there are promising signs of the future still for this team, man. The young talent I like. Neighbors not being out there changes the entire dynamic of your offense. That much has been immediately clear. Not having that guy makes any quarterback look lost. Jackson Dart kind of look lost out there because his guy's not out there. Now, I also want to preface before Crocs talks about his Steelers, and I want to give him a little bit of praise because I have been talking shit. In the last 2 weeks, the AFC North is 1-6. The Steelers are 1-0. Every other team is 0-2.
No losses yet. Well, the one to the Seahawks, but don't need to talk about that one.
So coming off the bye week, what are we thinking about the Steelers this year? Has the momentum shift a little bit in your favor now that the entire rest of the division is in General Hospital right now, or what are we thinking?
Oh, okay. So the situation is definitely a lot different than what it was last year. And last year I was on a high with the Steelers, especially when, I'm a big Justin Fields fan, and I thought he would take us the distance. But then Russell came in and started cooking a little bit. I'm thinking this is a really good playoff caliber team, and we shit the bed the last 5-6 weeks in a row. It was abysmal. It was an absolute nosedive, and stuck to the Steelers standard of 9-8 first round exit. Mike Tomlin is still our head coach, and this year Lamar's out. Cleveland doesn't know what they're doing at quarterback, and they're 1-4. And let's be real, they're not in the picture ever. Cincinnati has Joe Flacco now, but Joe Burrow is out until December. And so as it stands, it's going to be another race between the Ravens and the Steelers again. And when Lamar comes back, I definitely see them winning a few more games than what they have been recently. But then again, even with Lamar, they struggled a little bit.
That's hard to come back from, man. Just being 1-4. Let's see their next few weeks, I guess.
Yeah, because once you start creeping on that 6-7 loss, maybe even 5, that's when you start to panic just a little bit. And for the Ravens to be a walk, that doesn't make sense to me. Because especially with
they play the Rams this week. They play the Rams this week. We all know how that could possibly go. Then they play the Bears, which honestly, Bears could probably beat them. Then they go Dolphins, Vikings. Yeah, these next 4 weeks, they might squeeze out 1 or 2 wins against the Dolphins or Bears.
And that should be a concern right there, because you need if you want to give Lamar comfort about the playoffs, you need to win 2 at least. And the only
Yeah.
ones I really possibly see them winning out of those games is Chicago potentially, but Caleb's kind of balling a little bit, and maybe Minnesota. How long is JJ McCarthy out?
They haven't revealed an official timetable. O'Connell said that even if he's healthy, they're not going to rush him back into the lineup if they don't feel like they have to. So there's never been like a timetable put on it.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, Carson Wentz not a bad option, especially with, like we discussed earlier, the talent that they have on offense. And even defensively, like they have a lot of talent on that side of the ball too. So that might be the game where like it kind of decides how this Ravens season is going to go for them, because like that's your one true test. And if you don't win that game, you're staring at 7-8 losses in the face, and that's a wild card or nothing at all. So, and then we get to my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was not a fan of Aaron Rodgers coming in, not at all.
Real quick. Let me just so they're saying he's potentially going to return after the week 7 bye. So week 8. So that's 3 more weeks. He's possibly not going to. That's huge to possibly drop to a 1-17. Like that is huge.
Exactly. I mean, historically, just to backtrack a little bit, I mean, the Bengals were in a very similar situation last year, and they won, what was it, like 8 or 9 of the last 10 or so games, just scratched outside of the playoffs, barely missed. But, I mean,
Joe Burrow is putting up numbers, man. Even with Lamar, they're not playing that good. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing things here and there, but Derrick Henry was fumbling. Lamar was – it's just they weren't playing that good. You know what I mean? Like, these are games that, like, you think they would win, but they didn't, you know? So, I don't know. We'll see. Sorry. Go ahead.
So, Steelers, I wasn't a fan of Aaron Rodgers coming in. Has he done well? Sure. I mean, with the weapons that he has, like, I'm pretty appreciative of what he's been able to do so far, and it's been great. The injury bug has hit us a little bit with Jaylen Warren being out for a few weeks, or just the Ireland game. Joey Porter Jr. got injured week 1 or 2. Now Jalen Ramsey's out for a few weeks, but we have Highsmith coming back this week. So, like, you know, injury, it's you get one back, you lose another with us, and it is frustrating. But I mean, when you're the highest paid defense in the NFL, like, you have to work with what you have. And for me, the defense has been extremely underwhelming this year. I don't think they're as good as people are saying that they are, because, I mean, week 1, the Jets put up 30-something points against them, and they barely even got a stop. Like, it was abysmal to watch. And the only stop they had in that game was the very last play of the game when Jalen Ramsey squashed Garrett Wilson. That was it. That was the only big difference.
Is he been playing well?
Honestly, he's maybe gotten a sack or 2 at most. I think they're still double teaming him all the time, and, like, you know, like, just watching him, like, just get held every other play that never gets called. But it is what it is. Like, the highest paid defense in the NFL, and it's not acting like it for me. It's not. We're 3-1, fantastic, love that, and we're in the top of the division, and we are in line to win the division. We have the absolute blessing right now to win the division with no problems. But look at last year, same thing, and we nosedived, and that's what I'm afraid of. But, you know, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a different quarterback. He's actually told Mike Tomlin off. If you saw in the Ireland game, nobody's ever allowed to audible or stay on the field. What Mike Tomlin says goes. And last week, for the first time in years, Aaron Rodgers asked to stay on the field, screwed up and didn't get the 4th down conversion. But that was the first time I've ever seen anybody, like, challenge Tomlin's coaching. And I guess, I don't know if that's things to come with Aaron, but I don't know. Like, let me just look at their schedule real quick, because, I mean, we played Cleveland this week in Pittsburgh. Done. Automatic. Don't even worry about it. Please do not clip me in case they lose. Then after, clipped it already?
Clip it, chat.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thanks, chat. And then we go to Cincy, and then we play Green Bay, the Colts, the Chargers. That's a rough schedule. Like, those few games in a row. Bengals, I'm not too concerned about, but AFC North game, it goes either way. Packers, concern. Colts, huge concern. If we pull a win from the Colts, that is a miracle and a half. But then Chargers, Bengals, Bears, Bills, it's a tough schedule down the road. So the winner of the AFC North is probably going to have the worst divisional record. Like the worst winner, the winner of that division is going to have the worst record out of anybody that's won the division in the NFL.
So they're going to win the NFC South award.
The NFC South award, yes. That's exactly what it should be.
Well, this is the most unlucky season in the history of the NFL to have an early bye week as well. Because the thing is that with these next couple weeks, especially with all the injuries that are going in that division, to be able to have like a week 9 or 10 bye week where you could give your guys an extra week to stay healthy with teams that are just fucking banged up, you can grind out some wins with your guys, get everybody some treatment, come back and have a nice 2-week stretch. The problem is that week 5 bye week is not doing you guys any favors. On top of that, you guys got the AFC South, which was supposed to be easy dubs, and now that division might be the best in football right now. Then you also have, you're also playing the Chargers. Chargers are a team that's, may not be the best, may not be the most consistent, but they are healthy, right? They're staying healthy. And that's something that's a problem for, a lot of the league right now is that, they have less key injuries than most of the other big teams do.
They just put Hampton on IR, so the rookie running back, he's gonna be out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean at the same time, the passing game was really the thing that's been keeping the Chargers in it right now. Keenan Allen looks back to doing the thing that he was doing, just being a good possession receiver. Quentin Johnston is finally becoming the player that we thought he could be. So I don't think that they're in any mess of trouble right now compared to other teams that are losing their franchise quarterbacks, right? Like if Herbert goes down, that's a different story. But I think Herbert's good enough to be able to at least game manage some wins. The thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year is this. The reason I didn't like the Aaron Rodgers thing is because he was an ego-driven guy. And what this team really needs is a game manager. They need a guy who's going to be able to just keep the ball, keep possession, to be able to just put together some drives, be able to get some first downs, keep the defense off the field long enough, just score just enough points to win. And I didn't think he had it in him to do that. He's proven me wrong. His numbers don't jump off the screen, but it doesn't matter. That's not what the team needs. This team needs a guy who's not going to turn it over, who's not going to make stupid mistakes and force Trevor Lawrence triple coverage fucking special balls trademark. But, you need a guy who's going to be able to keep the ball in your side of the field, man, and that's something that he's done. They put together some decent drives. He hasn't had insane numbers, but he's willing to hand the ball off. He's willing to be a check down Charlie. He's willing to do all these things that you need to do to keep your defense off the field and keep them kind of fresh as long as you can throughout the game. And that's all you needed, and he's doing it. So the AFC North will be gifted to you guys this year. I'm about 80% sure right now because I just don't think the Ravens in general, like we said, even when they had Lamar, I actually went on a rant. I haven't posted that video yet. But the thing is with Lamar is that I feel like he's just so overrated because his situational football is terrible. He puts up numbers and that's great. But when it comes to big games, he chokes. And the week we talked about that, the next game was the Chiefs game. He was choking, then he got hurt. Look, he's a great talent. But when you have second and short and third and short consistently and you're running backwards and taking 12-yard sacks to take yourself out of field goal range, out of third down and fourth down conversion range, that's not good football, and there's a reason why he'll never win a Super Bowl. There's a very clear reason. He's like the Michael Vick of this era. People say, I've never seen a player like this before. I have. It was Michael Vick. And the thing is Michael Vick didn't win shit either, but he had a much better arm because people like to act like Lamar's this great passer. He's not. He's a slightly above average passer of the ball. And I just don't think he has the arm that people give him credit for. So in this division, even the best team is still not as good as you guys have been consistently. And that has a lot to do with injuries. No doubt about it, right? The divisional matchups are always going to be tough. But I like your chances in games coming down the stretch, even against tougher teams, because for some reason when teams play Pittsburgh, they always look a little bit different. It's like when teams play the Eagles. You have an expectation of how they've been winning games and the things that they're able to do, and then they play against the Eagles and things just look a little bit different. So I really think, I think we have a shot here to run away with this division. And honestly, if I had to put money on it, I would put money on it because it's not even about a matter of how good or bad anything is. It's that you guys are just not hurt, consistently better, and the only thing that you guys don't have working in your favor right now is that early bye week, because those are teams that have early bye weeks do not have as high a level of success as teams that have later bye weeks. They just don't. So we'll see how you guys come out of this looking, but I feel very confident in the Steelers right now because Aaron Rodgers is doing what he has to do in a system that's set up for him to succeed.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, again, I would be a terrible fan to say that I don't want my team to win because I do. I'm a diehard fan for a reason. It's just frustrating when you see year after year after year the same consistency, the same record, same results every year. Especially when we have 6 of these, and we haven't been to a Super Bowl since I was a freshman in high school. Like it's just abysmal. And the schedule, I just looked at the whole schedule going down the whole list, and it's rough. It is absolutely insanely rough. If we somehow pull the North, well, I mean, not somehow, but more than likely pull the North with the road that we have against us, it's like, I mean, that'll definitely say something, but like playoff time, it might be the same result as last year, which I'm hoping not for. But
I think Rodgers is a different man in the playoffs, man. I think you guys are gonna be good, honestly. And you know what, Pablo, my coworker, he mentioned that in the preseason. He was like, Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers is gonna be a good pickup, and it's proven to be a pretty decent pickup. I think you guys will be fine, honestly. Do I think you guys will make the Super Bowl? I think it's possible. Do I really think it'll happen? I guess we'll wait and see. You know, you guys will be all right.
Ask me that question again. Probably come early December. That would be my opinion.
It's so funny how similarly that we feel about these types of things, because like when you have a team like up north, especially, like we're all up north team fans, and the thing is that there's a standard, regardless of how good or bad your team is on paper. There's a standard, and we don't play with that shit. Like the Jacksonville Jaguars, like we win. You know, if their fans are like, we win 5 games this year, I'm pretty happy with that. That's not how the shit goes in the Northeast, bro. That's not how shit goes up there. The shit is we win or you're all fired, and then we'll get the next guy to come in and they're gonna fucking win. And if they don't win, they're gone, right? With one exception, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't fire people. Man, we were talking about the Matt Canada firing. The Matt Canada firing, I specifically, as someone who's been a fan of football my entire life, I was telling my family about this. We were talking, they're like, how about that guy Canada? I'm like, you guys don't understand. It has been since 1930 that they have fired somebody in the middle of a season or something, like almost 100 years. And there's plus sides and negative sides. You've had 3 coaches since the late 60s. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. 3 fucking coaches. People look at that as a sign of success. The way I look at it is that's a sign of they don't know when it's time to let somebody go. Because
that's the same thing I told Crocs I think it was last year or this preseason. You know, it was always a winning record, and I told him, I was like, Crocs, that's cool. You guys don't have a losing season, and I this was my opinion. I was like, but you guys are hindering yourselves. You guys are getting mid-level first-round picks. You guys aren't getting those picks that are actually going to make a difference. Like, yeah, you guys got Kenny Pickett. You guys thought that was going to be the guy. Turned out to not be. But when you guys go consistently, for lack of better terms, when you guys go consistently mid, you guys stay there. You know what I mean? You're not getting. You're not getting that guy that you need to fucking make a huge difference. You know what I mean? You guys, when did you guys get Pickens? Was he? I don't even know. Was he a later?
They could do the same draft as Kenny Pickett, I believe, 2021 or 2. But either way, like I mean, full agreement either way. Like, we are the definition of football purgatory. We're not good enough to win a Super Bowl. We're not bad enough to get good draft picks. It's literally in the exact middle, and it's terrible. And like Dan just said, historically, we don't fire coaches. We need to. We need to change everything up. Like, it's historically, like, we're about winning Super Bowls and keeping everything in the family. And that was great maybe a few years ago when we had the 2008 defense and we won the Super Bowl that year. But the whole of NFL has changed. And as you can see, the last few Super Bowls have been decided by like high caliber offenses. And in the last few years, the Pittsburgh Steelers will draft defensively heavy every single time. And then if there's a decent like little offensive player late in the first round, early in the second round, we'll take in Kenny Pickett or George Pickens, stuff like that. But again, we're not terrible enough to get a higher caliber offensive player because that's who goes off the board first, and we're never there to take them.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 2 years, this whole quest for 9-8 thing, people look at that as some impressive feat. The reality is the last 2 years, if you guys would have been the team that you should have been, and stop trying to stick it together. Stop trying to fix the Hoover Dam with fucking bubble gum. What would have happened was you could have drafted a guy like Jahad Campbell, maybe a guy in the previous year, maybe a Malik Neighbors. So in a hypothetical situation, they could have absolutely had Malik Neighbors across from George Pickens with Jahad Campbell, or not Jahad Campbell, your guy. I forget his fucking name every week. The guy that you guys just drafted this year, out of Penn State.
What?
Yeah. You said what?
Carter.
Yeah. So you could have had Carter across from Watt, right? And like these are things that could have happened. So instead you get these draft picks that are touching stories, like the guy you drafted this year. That's a great story. The thing is that touching stories are cool until September. Now it's like, all right, is this guy good? And then he got hurt, unfortunately. But look, this isn't good. The thing is that made the Patriots great during their time was not Bill Belichick and was not Tom Brady. And I know that's crazy to hear. What made them great is they always knew when to get rid of a player. If you look at a player's production after they left the Patriots, it's the only exception that I know out of note was Wes Welker, but he went to Peyton Manning's Broncos that set records, right? Outside of that, Brandon Cooks, Chris Hogan, Amendola. You look at Patrick Chung on defense. Vince Wilfork, all those guys they got rid of, look at their production immediately after they left. They always knew when to get rid of them. The Eagles got rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Look at what happened to him. The only exception out of everybody they got rid of was Isaiah Rodgers and now Milton Williams, right? Out of, 10 guys they got rid of? The production, the teams need, the thing that's just as important about loyalty is knowing when it's time to stop being loyal, when it's time to cut the cord. And the problem is that with players, the Steelers have done a good job with that. With coaches, they've done the worst job. Look, Tomlin was great for a long time. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's going to be one of the more underrated coaches in the history of the NFL. However, at a certain point, you have to realize there's a ceiling to what he's able to do, and that ceiling is 10 wins. Even in a year where you have a free division, I would be shocked if that team got more than 10 wins. I would be shocked.
Yeah. To chime in on that real quick, because I see a lot of similarities with a certain coach. Mike Tomlin's a good coach. I'm not going to knock him on that. He's a good coach. It's an overrated stat. I agree. But, to not have a losing season under your belt is pretty historic. With that being said, it has been time for a couple of years now to move on. And it could work out in both teams involved favor. And the prime example I like to use is Andy Reid. Because Andy Reid with the Eagles went to that one Super Bowl, was consistently well. And then the time came where they both decided to part ways, and he became the Hall of Fame coach that he is now with the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if Tomlin can do that with any other team in the NFL. He might, and if he were to inherit a different kind of system, he could become the next Andy Reid per se. I'm not going to knock him, but what does that do for the Steelers? The Steelers find somebody different, and maybe we have some really bad losing seasons, which at this point I would take because I know what would come from it. Higher draft picks, better future, and the Super Bowls will come back to us naturally is how I feel it would go. And I mean, the only coach that I currently would want to replace Mike Tomlin is John Gruden.
Big Gruden.
He deserves another shot, and that lawsuit is getting some serious work right now, and I think he's going to be free. I mean, he pretty much already is forgiven by society. So I think if he were to come in, and he's a guy that doesn't take no bullshit from anybody. Like Mike Tomlin let the George Pickens, the Antonio Browns, the Le'Veon Bells, their personalities slide all the time. And then eventually let them walk, got rid of them, whatever the case may be. John Gruden doesn't take no shit. You're here to work, you're here to play football, and we're going to win many games. And that's the one dude that I would want to replace Mike Tomlin right now.
And the perfect thing for your system, because you guys keep winning, what is his weakness? And what has always been his weakness is Achilles heel, his drafting. But that doesn't matter when you're drafting 23rd, right? So Gruden's not the best drafter, but what he is, and the thing is that I feel like even in a weakness, even though that's his biggest weakness, his strength was that people want to play for him. So that now you become an even bigger free agent and trade destination because people want to play for John Gruden because he revitalizes careers. He's a quarterback whisperer. He's a guy that's going to bring some discipline and intensity to a team. He's like a Bill Parcells type guy. He's going to go in, he's going to turn you around, he's going to find his next project, but in that time he can get you a Super Bowl, right? And that's Parcells made a career off of going to the Jets were like a 1-15 team, and he goes to them and they're a playoff team, right? There are guys out there that can do that. So I agree. I think that would be a great addition. I think there's a lot of teams right now that could use a John Gruden, right? And so It's just a matter of if, Roger Goodell's ego will allow John Gruden back in after he called him an anti-football pussy.
Hey, Roger Goodell's ego or the court of law. One of the two will break first.
Absolutely.
John Gruden, come home. Come home, John Gruden. Jackson Dart needs you.
So now what I'll say is this. I think we should go down the slate of games, the ones that we've missed, and start talking about them. The first one I want to talk about is the first one that happened, the 49ers and the Rams. Go ahead.
Oof, what a game.
I wanted to go to Chargers route, but we could go there. We touched about the Chargers, but we go. Let me pull that one up. Yeah. First off the top of my head, I don't know how the fuck the Niners are doing what they're doing. I truly don't. That's just
General Hospital.
Kyle Shanahan.
I don't get it, and it pisses me off, bro. Because I bet on that game, and it's like, dude, how?
I'm a firm believer that Christian McCaffrey sacrifices other players' knees to be good at this point because the dude is, when he's healthy, he's the best running back alive, and you can't say otherwise because he does it all. He's a receiver, he's a running back, he's both. But the biggest thing that, and I was looking forward to it, I talked to my Patriot fan back home, and he said, watch out for this Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne connection, and watch what the fuck. Because they were New England together, and now they were there and they balled out. Kendrick Bourne had a career game of 142 yards with 10 receptions, and Mac Jones was even playing hurt throughout the game, but still balled out.
Is Mac Jones, Sam Darnold, and Daniel Jones lighting up the league?
Because Kyle Shanahan is the best coach in the history of the NFL at making his offense accessible on a week-to-week basis to whoever he has playing at quarterback. He doesn't dumb down the offense. He changes the plays into the strengths of the quarterbacks that are playing. He sees what Mac Jones does well, and he sees what Mac Jones doesn't do well. Something Andy Reid could have learned when he was coaching Donovan McNabb. He would force him to throw those short slant routes. He was never good at it. Thing is, Kyle Shanahan sees what Mac Jones' strengths are. He's like, this is what he can do, and this is what he can't do. I am not going to call a play that I know he can't execute. And that's what he does. If you look at it, look at what Brady did most of his career. As much as you love him, he checked down a fuckload, all right? And especially in big games, he was checking down. He never had the craziest arm. He would never make the most incredible tight window throws on a consistent basis. He did a lot of checkdowns. He kept the positive yardage. They stayed in front of the sticks, which was the most important thing. They stayed in front of the sticks. They didn't have self-inflicted wounds with penalties. They didn't really have any negative yardage plays, or you have these weird screens that are starting 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Simple, fundamental football. Stay ahead of the sticks. 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards. Give guys like Bourne, give guys like McCaffrey an opportunity to make some plays with their legs. And that's what they did. I am not surprised that this team won this game. I'm not. I am surprised that Bourne had the performance that he did to a degree, but this is what the 49ers do. I'm not surprised anymore. I've seen this shit for 8 years. This is what this team does. Next man up mentality, right? And the quarterbacks have always found a way to be successful. I'm not shocked. After the 5th time of it, how can we be surprised, right? I do think, though, that Brock Purdy deserves to get his credit as the elite quarterback that he is, because that offense looks a lot different when he's playing than it does when you see those other guys come in, though. He's able to make those throws. He's able to do some things that kind of open your eyes a bit, no matter who he has around him as well. So if him and McCaffrey can be healthy on the same team, this 49ers team is not bad. However, I really don't believe that they'll be there at the end of the year, because I think that the NFC is very top heavy right now. Is very top heavy. I think the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFC might be the top 4 out of 5 teams in the NFL right now. So outside of Indianapolis.
I think something to bring up as well.
Mac threw for almost 400 and they still lost this game. You know what I mean? Like Puka is the best wide receiver in right now. He's fucking absolutely killing it. Kyren Williams had 2 touchdowns. He has some, you know what? That's what happened. They had some fumbles that really made that game. They had some turnovers that
fumbled
that game up. Say again? Yeah, that's what it was. Now that's coming back to me. They had some turnovers that really made that game, I guess, within reach. But yeah, dude, Mac Jones, 342 yards. Fucking, I don't understand how this is happening.
Hey, I mean, that was another point I wanted to bring up as well. Mac Jones, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, all 4 quarterbacks that were in, I don't know if you want to call them bad situations, as soon as they go over to another coach and they're balling the ball. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, those are 4 prime candidates of like, like they just need a better situation in order to show who they really are. And it's working out.
Yeah, I mean, and like, look, this is a team that has the talent. I mean, that's why I'll never be surprised, because they always keep enough talent around everybody to put them in a position to do things well. McCaffrey's only question mark over his entire career was his ability to stay healthy, because he gets the ball a lot and he's a workhorse, and he's the type of dude that can take any fucking play to the house. Now, he's him, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley, and everybody else in the backfield. And that's crazy to think about it, because you have guys like Josh Jacobs in there, right? That are really good running backs. But those 3 guys just seem to kind of hover above everybody else. And McCaffrey's the type of dude, man, he's been willing teams to win. That dude's wanted to win his whole career. Playing in Carolina, I think, really changed his mindset about things. And ever since he's been in San Francisco, if he's healthy, he's the guy. He's going to be good. I mean, I can't remember a single week he's had where he's been shut down one way or the other between running or receiving. So, yeah, I definitely think that that team's one to look out for. And the Rams, look, the Rams have two losses on their record now, but it was to the Eagles and the 49ers. It's not like they're just losing to whatever teams. They're losing to teams that have a lot of talent, right? So, this is the NFL season, right? These teams are all, they're filled with professional players, man, so they can win. And I don't think the 49ers are some poverty franchise. I think they're actually, out of all the teams that have a quarterback injury, they're the one that is by far in the best situation to continue success moving forward, in my opinion.
Because they also have the easiest schedule in the NFL down the road.
Yeah, they're like the Notre Dame of the NFL this year, no doubt about it. But at the same time, no matter who they play, I still think that they have an opportunity to win. For some reason, this team is just so resilient and always figures out a way. And not to mention, Bosa's out for the year. And I saw a stat that I told him last week, and they said, if you're upset about Joey Bosa not being there, or Nick Bosa not being there, and you don't think that they can win a Super Bowl, just remember every team that's ever won a Super Bowl did it without Nick Bosa. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
That guy's a dog.
Oh yeah, he's a great player. Next on, we got Cowboys and Jets, which this game was one going into it. I have to be honest, I didn't really. This could have gone a million ways. The Jets could have blown out the Cowboys. Cowboys could have blown out the Jets. It could have been a tight game, whatever, because these are the 2 most inconsistent teams in the NFL right now, in my opinion. But I also think that, I hate that like the Eagles were 4-0, right? And they're like, who are they the worst 4-0 team? But then I look at this Jets team, I'm like, are they one of the best 0-5 teams? I mean, they were putting up stats. They're playing close games. They have a solid defense. They just can't string it together in all 3 phases for one game. But this team was in a position to win like 4 out of those 5 games. They could have won those games. And this is far, far, far from the sorry-ass Jets that we are accustomed to. This team is not terrible. So it's frustrating for me to see them struggle the way that they have.
No,
So
definitely.
Justin
Glad you brought that up.
Sorry, Justin Fields does not have a turnover yet. My boy has 754 throwing yards, 4 touchdowns. Now, if I go to rushing, I don't have it up right now, but he's got at least some rushing yards, And my buddy Truey, he's a really big Jets fan. Maybe we get him on here one day. You know what I'm saying? If you listen,
178 rushing yards.
And are you looking at that right now?
Yeah, he's got an average of 60 or 59.3 rushing yards per game.
How many? But I'm saying, how many touchdowns do he have? Rushing touchdowns? Because they're scoring.
The 2 against
numbers,
one.
Yeah, like he's not. They're not playing bad, dude. They're just somehow not fucking doing a damn thing. Let's see, rushing. He has
3
rushing touchdowns. Yeah, so he hasn't turned the ball over yet. You know what I mean? And honestly, I think what their big issue is, that defense is not the Jets' defense that they were last year. You know what I mean? I think they changed the defensive coordinator on their side, and that might have made a big difference, because they were one of the best defenses, and now they're one of the worst defenses, because they are giving up points, but they're scoring points, but they're also giving up points. And they're just. I don't think the Jets are a bad team. Definitely not Justin Fields. Justin Fields is not the problem. He's not.
Nobody on the offense is the problem at all. That offense is. I consider that offense one of the top 5 or 6, man. Honestly, like, if we're being real, Justin Fields is balling out. Like you said, no turnovers this year. Breece Hall is like kind of wishy-washy, but that Garrett Wilson Justin Fields connection is as special as it was at Ohio State. And I knew coming into the season that it was going to be special because of how they played.
I mean, the problem is what I was talking about with Lamar is the same thing I'll talk about here. When it comes down to situational football and key situations, they're just not executing to stay on the field longer. And that's something that most teams struggle with because it's something that's very hard to do. It's like, we need this right now. All of a sudden you have a day that's slow on offense all day long, and now you need to just pick it up in this one specific situation in this do or die type thing. But this game, it really kind of felt like they never really had a chance against the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys just started to pull away. But you know, again, the Cowboys have been putting up points and stuff, but they played the Eagles. Look how they looked, right? Like, this is a team that I just have to be honest, I'm not really feeling great about again this year. I just don't think there's anything that I'm feeling special. And this is, you know, even though they're winning, Cowboys fans have been pretty quiet this year because, look, I mean, they're beating up on bad teams. They're beating up on teams that are struggling, and yet they're 2-2-1, right? They put up numbers against. They beat the Giants by 3, but they gave up 37 points. They lost by 17 to the Bears, and they tied the Packers. I mean, I'm not really super confident, right?
Muriel, fuck the Cowboys, Muriel.
She's not in the garage. Fun fact, that was my lovely wife, who is a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, but she's not a delusional one. So I'm happy about that. But, I mean, she got her flowers this year with the Giants-Cowboys game. That was one of the most amazing games I've ever seen live.
Let's relax.
Gotta throw it back for the sake of my wife.
But yeah, I mean, look, I actually leave this game feeling more confident in the Jets than I do the Cowboys, which is crazy to think because the way their records look. But it's just the Jets have to have a curse on them or something. I mean, because they have so much talent right now. They're actually not even playing terrible football. They're not like one of these teams that are horrible to watch, right? Like the Dolphins are way worse to watch than the Jets, right? But they just can't get in that winning column. And I think having Aaron Glenn as a first-year head coach, which is interesting that their defense is struggling as much as they are because he's a defensive head coach. He's a guy who's like, he was a defensive guy. So it's really weird to see that they're kind of not having success on that side of the ball, and yet their offense is flourishing. But, I mean, this is yet another endorsement for the fact that Justin Fields could have been your guy in Pittsburgh for the next 4 or 5 years. I don't think he deserved to lose his job, and I'm glad to see that he's getting another opportunity because he looks good. He hasn't really done, from what I've watched a good amount, he hasn't really played stupid football. The only problem is situational football, but you know what? There's only a few guys in the league that can execute situational football. Jalen Hurts. But, like, there's only a couple guys that can actually do that, and that's something that they're struggling with. This is the only game this year that they didn't have a chance to win, and I think that if you're 0-5, you don't feel good about it, but at the same time, you're a couple rolls of the ball away from having a couple wins on the record, which is much better than a lot of people would have suggested for the Jets coming into the season, so not all bad. Dolphins-Panthers. How bad is it? Here's the thing. It's got to be Tua at this point. It has to, because, I mean, even with Tyreek down, they have Achane, they have Waddle, they have Gesicki. The offensive line hasn't looked terrible. The defense has been playing okay, but I think that Jalen Ramsey's a bigger void than they'd like to admit there. But what is the problem here with this Dolphins team, man? They just look so bad.
Real quick,
So
they have Darren Waller, who's balling out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good pickup. So I have this at work. There's this guy that came in, and he was a Dolphins fan, and we were talking about it, and he hit it on the nail. He blamed it right on Tua. He said Tua is scared to get hurt again, and he's just playing very conservatively. You know what I mean? He's taking sacks. He's not running as much. He's which I get it. But he had 2 pretty bad injuries. And he's putting it on Tua, which I think it's safe to say. But I also understand that. Again, it's the injuries. I think he's 1 injury away from being in a wheelchair. We're not, I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. The guy is. I think.
The problem is
Darren Waller, man, that was huge.
I said Gesicki. That was like 2 years ago. I keep forgetting it. So Darren Waller, I keep forgetting about it because it's just like he retired. I thought I was never going to talk about him again. And he's coming out playing great right now. And the thing is the passes that he's catching for touchdowns, they're not even good passes. I mean, he's just going up and getting them, making athletic plays. Like, the dude looks like he's 26 again, which is crazy to think about. But it's also a shame that it's in vain, it feels like, because he's playing great. But it seems like it's in a season where his team just really doesn't have a chance to do anything too good here. It's all around just ugly football to watch, man. This team is just not just doesn't really look good to watch. I mean, there's gaps in it. The only players that really look good are just Achane and really Darren Waller on this team. And the problem is that the Dolphins are in the ultimate trap of paying a guy too much money to where the dead cap space and everything that's going on is just too much for them to be able to get rid of him. It's just hard to justify getting rid of him with that contract they have on the table. And unfortunately, they're going to have to wheel him out there weekend at Bernie style until they can kind of get down to a point where there's enough dead cap space that they can take. I mean, the guys, they're taping this guy's eyeballs open every fucking week. I don't understand what the hell's going on here. I mean, I'm listening to him in interviews and he sounds like fucking riffraff. I don't know what the hell is going on here, but yeah, it's gonna. I mean, this dude talks the way that Cam Newton types. I mean, I just don't know what the fuck is going on right now. I don't know what's going on right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mike McDaniel, if this is last year, truthfully.
No, he's. I'm sorry, but like after week 2, I kind of said to myself, this is a dude that's going to get fired before December rolls around. Honestly, he's going to get fired mid-season, and it's going to be a tank season, and it is what it is. It is absolutely abysmal football to watch, and I don't think there's really anybody else that doesn't blame Tua or Mike McDaniel at this point. It's clear.
I do think that McDaniel. Once he leaves this team, though, I do think that somebody's going to get a really, really good offensive coordinator. I mean, the guy from an offensive coordinator standpoint, I think a lot of Waller's success has stemmed from, play calls and situations that Mike McDaniel has drawn up. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the dude has ability. I think he'll find another coaching staff, no problem. Maybe he's just not ready to be a head coach. I don't know. But at this point, when you have this quarterback play, it's kind of hard without being in the locker room and being more involved with the team to really know who to blame at this point. But Tua is the person on the field that I see who consistently just doesn't really inspire any confidence in me whatsoever. And so there's a lot of holes in this team, and they just seem to find a way to lose every game that they're playing right now. So
they had a 17-0 lead up until the second quarter, and yeah, that was just theirs that they gave away. Truthfully,
hey, but you should talk about Rico Dowell and how he played in that game.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. Is Chuba hurt? What?
Yeah,
no,
Chuba's out.
And he was not spotted at practice today, so he might be out against the Cowboys, but. I mean, it's 1 week. I'm not gonna, say freak out about it, but Rico Dowell just went off for no reason. It was
206 rushing yards. Wow,
206 rushing yards and a touchdown. Yeah, and in fantasy, I was like, oh, Dowdle's projected 15 points this week, and James Conner went down. All right, my other running back is Nick Chubb. Yeah, I'll pick him up. Fuck it, I'll start him this week. Boy, I got the weekly high score. What the fuck are we talking about? Who was the quarterback I picked up this week? Justin Fields. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm Howie Roseman, but I'm Howie fucking Roseman when it comes to the fucking fantasy football, okay? I just know. I have that third eye and not the brown one, the one up on my forehead. Look, here's the thing. Guys. This team is just losing games. I mean, Rico Dowdle is out there looking like fucking prime Adrian Peterson against this team. And don't get me, it's not even just like he's, running through wide open holes. I mean, the dude is just dodging tackles. This team looks like they're not putting in effort. Half the defense looks like they don't even want to fucking be there. And yet it was still a 3-point game. That's the craziest part to me. That's how I know the Panthers are fucking total booty butt cheeks, because the fucking Dolphins had about the same amount of effort as the Raiders did. And yet it was a 3-point game to the Panthers.
I didn't even know Chuba was hurt. How long is Chuba out for?
I think 2 to 4 weeks, I want to say.
Did he get hurt this game? I didn't even know he was out.
It was last week. Or the week before.
I mean,
okay, yeah.
To be fair as well, he wasn't really doing too much while he was healthy this year at least. I mean, as ridiculous as it sounds, there's talks that Rico Dowell might be taking majority of the snaps even when he comes back. Which, I mean, for week 1, I would say, yeah, go for it. But this upcoming game against Dallas, that. You got to see what he does there to determine how these snaps are going to go. Because if he balls out again like that, well, I'm not going to say he's going to put up 200 yards against Dallas. He might. But if he gets anywhere over 100 yards against Dallas, then they're going to have some serious talks about the run game.
That's a revenge game as well. You have to keep that in mind. That's a revenge game right there. So he's got extra added motivation. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's on his mind. It's on his mind. He's saying it's on his mind. He's looking forward to this week. As soon as the game was over, you could tell he was looking up and trying to see if he could find Dallas. He's ready. I mean, he's going to run anything in dark blue with a vengeance. He's going to be looking like Cam Scatterbo out there trying to take their heads off. So, Next, we have the Texans versus the Baltimore Ravens. All right.
Man, what was the best hate watch of the year for me so
44-10. The last 2 weeks, the Texans have won 70-10 total score. I cannot believe that the question of, are the Texans bad? They played the Titans and the fucking Baltimore fucking Johns Hopkins University Hospital. What are we talking about right now? Are they back? Absolutely not. If they beat the Seahawks this week, or they beat the Seahawks, I'm sorry, next week because they're on a bye. If they beat the Seahawks, maybe we can start talking. I think the Seahawks are going to blow this team out. This is the quintessential beat up on bad teams. However, they lost 20-19 to the Texans. They lost 14-9 to the Rams. The games that they lost 17-10 to the Jags, which we thought was a bad loss, but right now the Jags are one of the best teams in football, right? All one-score games that they're losing. This is the Eagles on the other side of things, if things didn't go their way, right? They have one-score games. They're playing them tight. The problem is they're not scoring more than 14 points on average versus good teams. CJ Stroud is the problem, okay? CJ Stroud is the problem. Now, look, is his rushing game tough right now with Will Marks, with Woody Marks, and with Nick Chubb? Not looking amazing. However, they can't put points on the board because they're not passing the ball efficiently. And then if he plays bad teams, he passes the ball efficiently. The next 2 weeks, he's got Seahawks, 49ers. If they can average over 21 points per game over those next 2 games, regardless of result, then I'll be back in thinking that the Texans have a chance. The problem is, though, that they have to play the Jags twice, or they have to play the Jags again, and then they have to play the Colts twice this year. And they are not beating those teams right now.
No.
So that's 3 losses right there. That's 3 more losses on top of the 3 they already have? I mean, so I don't think they're back yet, and I think that they're winning games against teams that are bad. And the fact that people are glazing this hard when they beat 2 basement teams, I don't know. Give me a break right now. Give me a break. Look, I don't care about past experiences. I don't care about past records. The Ravens are a bad football team right now. Their defense is not playing well at all. Their offense, it looks absolutely lost. How hard is it to just give the ball to Derrick Henry, 20, 30 times a game, right? Just give him the ball.
To be fair, Derrick Henry's not playing good football either.
No, he's turning it over.
He's fumbling, and he's like in fantasy, he's like running back 16.
Yeah,
like it's pretty bad. And I mean, who knows? Like maybe he gets it together, or they just start handing it off to who's the backup?
Justice Hill.
His name. Justice Hill. I mean, Justice Hill had a really good game 2 weeks ago, I think it was. But either way, like, there's a lot missing on that team. Defensively, you're in trouble when you put 44. When you give up 44 to the Houston Texans, you're in big trouble. And you don't have Lamar. Like back to the point earlier, it's you can't rely on Lamar. And I mean, to be fair, like their wide receiver core, maybe the exception of Zay Flowers, they don't start anywhere else except on the Baltimore Ravens. Like I don't even think Zay Flowers would be a wide receiver one on any other team besides maybe Carolina or Cleveland. And it's it's one of those teams. It's like maybe Lamar is the entirety of the team.
So I have a little bit of a crazy take here, but I don't think it's that crazy. I think this needs to be Mark Andrews last year and that's Isaiah Likely's job as far as I'm concerned. I think Isaiah Likely's the better tight end. I think that he was the better tight. I think he was the better tight end last year. He just didn't see the snap share because Mark Andrews is Mark Andrews. But in all reality, Isaiah Likely that's something the Ravens have done well, man. They've replaced the guys with other good guys. Harbaugh has consistently put his team in opportunities to win outside of games like this. I think that there are promising things for the future for the Ravens. And Lamar coming back, I just don't think changes enough for me. I don't think it changes enough for me because this defense is terrible right now. Look, they have a lot of talent, and the past years they've been good. I don't care. What have you done for me lately? The NFL, not for long, right? They were good last year. That's great. I don't care. Last year's fucking over. I don't talk about the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl happened in the past. The reality of this is that the Baltimore Ravens do not look good on defense, which has been something that I have not seen for a long time. It's not just Lamar being out, because Lamar is not a 34-point difference in this game. He's not. No matter how good you are. I don't care who you put in. I don't care if Josh Allen's in this game. Not a 34-point difference. The defense is giving up everything. They couldn't stop snow in a desert, and it looks tough. It's not good right now. And I think there's a lot of holes that we're not going to give this team credit for because of the fact that their past successes. I don't care. They look terrible. This Ravens team is bad. They're not good. And even, like you said, Derrick Henry... I do believe they need to run the ball more, even though Derrick Henry hasn't looked as good. I think the way that a star player is when you play baseball, you swing yourself out of a slump. When you play basketball, you shoot yourself out of a slump. Right? That's how it works. Give them the ball. Eventually, you'll start making things happen. However, I still don't think they're winning games, regardless. I don't think that these games are wins. I think that they're less embarrassing losses, which is something I didn't expect to say 5 weeks ago. But it's where we're at.
Hey, Dan. Can we take a bathroom break?
Yeah.
All right. I'll be right back.
All right. So, getting back into it, the next game on the slate that we're going to talk about here, Titans, Cardinals.
It's not much to talk about.
That was like the end. That was like the end of a college basketball game. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like, I mean, what are we doing here? You put clown music and have them running real fast like the old silent films. I mean, what a joke, right? The thing is, I will say about this, and the reason I want to talk about this is because I am very, very happy for Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward shows sign of promises. That dude is going to be a problem in this league.
He deserves it.
He's going to be a problem. I don't think he will be a problem in Tennessee. He will get out of Tennessee, I believe, because the dude has made it very clear that he wants to win, and there's nothing I respect more than a football player who loves the game. This dude and his mindset, and I love, the thing I like about him is the thing I like about Malik Neighbors when they asked him if he's a diva. He said, the thing is, we want the ball. Our contract depends on us getting yards. I want to go out there. I want to get the ball. Yes, I'm a diva because I care about winning and I want to be successful, and I want the ball because I know I can change the game. And that honesty is something I really, really respect, and that's something why I'll always be a fan of Malik Neighbors as long as he's in the NFL, because when I see that honesty, I love that. Cam Ward is extremely honest. We're ass. After this game, I'm happy for our team with the win. We have a lot to work on. For a young guy, if you didn't know anything about the NFL other than like if you didn't know about the players themselves, and I showed you film of Cam Ward in the end of game situations, you would not think he was a rookie. With his demeanor, with his poise, with the throws, the tight window throws on the sidelines that he's trying to make at the end of these games to win them. This dude has what it takes to win in this league. His mindset, and that's the reason I'm high on Jalen. I have this argument with people all the time. It's the mindset. That's what separates the good players from the great players, and he has a mindset for greatness, and I just hope that either they build a team around him, they won't, or he can go to a situation where he can actually make things happen. I do believe that this guy will eventually be able to have the ability to bring a team to the Super Bowl. I don't know if he'll ever win one, but I think he has that ability. I think his ceiling is that high, and I don't think that, stats-wise, it doesn't matter to me this year in Tennessee. Tony Pollard looks like shit. Calvin Ridley doesn't look very good. They got guys dropping balls all over the field. The offensive line is in shambles. The defense hasn't been much better, but Cam Ward looks good. Am I crazy for saying that?
No, he deserves this win. He does. Yeah, I mean, he went for 265. Ridley went for 131. Just off the top, what I'm looking at. But yeah, he deserves it, man. I think he's gonna maybe they do build around him. Maybe they do. You know what I mean? But yeah, he deserves it. I knew he was gonna be good from Miami, dude. What was he leading? He led in touchdowns, I want to say. Am I correct? In college football. So you know what? Good for him. He deserves that. I'm also happy for Marvin Harrison Jr. Finally, looks like he's starting to click again. You know what I mean? On the other side of the ball, with Arizona. So those are two takeaways from that. Kyler, I have no idea what's up with Kyler, bro. I'm like so fucking like.
Kyler's got to go.
That's what we were talking about last week, actually.
Kyler is focused on Call of Duty Black Ops 7. He's not focused on the NFL.
That's exactly what we were talking about last year. Like I mean, last week on our show last week with Dan, I think this might be Kyler's last year in Arizona. I think they're gonna search elsewhere.
It's been 9 years.
Is it? No.
No, it
Why?
has been 9 years.
Hold on. Let me look at this up to make sure. I think it's 8 or 9 years. Hold on.
Career, let's see. First season was 2019, 2020.
2019? So
That's
year six?
6. Is this year 6 or 7? 6, right?
Year
I'm sorry, it's
seven.
been- Maybe that's my dyslexia
This-
thinking that
this is
that the
year
6 was a
7.
9. So this is year 7. Okay.
This is year 7.
How are we at year 7? I wasn't even that far off. How are we at year 7 right now? And there's not been a single draft. There's been no competition. There's been no we're looking. How? What the fuck does he?
Yeah.
He looks like a kid running away from his parents when he's in trouble with a clean pocket. What are we talking
Yeah, I think
about? Every play
think
that he
it was,
has,
yeah.
if you look it up, it's like Marcus Allen running for that touchdown in the Super Bowl. What the fuck are we doing? The guy runs for 50 yards to gain 2. I just don't understand it. And the thing is that he could maybe start in a different position. I really don't like Steichen as a head coach. Never really been a fan. Or is that Gannon? I forget which team went where. I think that's Steichen, right? Or is it Gannon? Hold on. Yeah, no, it's Gannon, right?
Who you talking about?
Jonathan Gannon. Yeah, Jonathan Gannon. And Gannon wasn't, Gannon's scheme defensively lost us that Super Bowl, I think, because we're up 10, we're playing soft coverage against Mahomes, which is just like, you might as well just go ahead and put the punt team out there to defend against that at that point. But, Gannon, the one thing I like that he got fired up at DeMercado, because that was another thing that we're not talking about. Yeah, we can talk about Kyler Murray. Why do people keep Deshaun Jacksoning? Why? Why do they keep doing it? Why do you keep flipping the ball at the goal line? Get to the back. Dude, Forrest Gump that shit. Run through the tunnel and then flip it. What the fuck are we doing? It's been 20 years.
Professional players.
You think because it just happened to what's his name a couple weeks ago is what? Yeah, exactly. You think after that, like every single running back, wide receiver, anyone in the NFL would be like, yeah, I'm going to hold on to this ball as long as humanly possible until I see pain. And
I would
And then-
Gronk spike that bitch, bro. Like every time. Once I know I'm there, I'm hitting a Gronk spike.
yeah,
I mean,
That's crazy, though.
I think after 2008, Week 1, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, Deshaun Jackson, with his first career, which would have been his first career touchdown, I think after that point, 17 years ago, that we would have stopped doing that. But for some reason, every single year, somebody does it. I don't get it. It's dumb. And you know what he deserved? The only mistake that Gannon made when he talked to him on the sideline was not hitting him in the fucking nose. What are you doing? I mean, dude, this is a team that is struggling to score points so badly, and you just give one up. They would have been up 26-7. What are we talking about? He lost that game. We can talk about Kyler Murray all you want, and listen, no amount of hate is enough, in my opinion, for a guy who's had every opportunity to succeed, because he's had players around him so many years. You know what I mean? He's had good players for a while. That defense,
Tyler.
the Arizona defense, is not a bad unit. But it doesn't matter, because we have Kyler Murray. And it just is what it is. You have Kyler Murray, and look, the two Cardinals fans that are out there are concerned right now. What are we doing? All three of them are just sitting there like, what are we doing, guys? I don't understand. Like, why do we have these people in place? I mean, we're not even, there's no competition. Like, this is a team that just doesn't seem like it seems like they're like separate from the rest of the NFL. Like, they don't even seem like an NFL team. They're like this other team that just kind of floats around and just does things. Like, no one's talking about it. I don't see anyone. I mean, I guess because, they're not the fucking Cowboys, so ESPN's not going to talk about it. But I just don't see anyone talking about what's going on in Arizona right now. Like, what are we doing? We have Trey Benson. We had James Conner. You just drafted Marvin Harrison. He's starting to come into his own. It's Kyler Murray.
You have Trey McBride. Trey McBride as well.
Yeah. I mean, Trey McBride might be the best tight end in the NFL, but we will never know because he's not really getting the ball as much as you want because Kyler Murray doesn't like to get rid of the fucking thing. So I don't know, man. Like, I just don't know what we're doing here in Arizona because, you have pieces in place. You have a solid defense and you have some pieces in place to make things happen. And this team just finds ways to lose. I mean, just ripping defeat from the jaws of victory. And I have not seen a single headline at all of like, should this be Kyler Murray's last season outside of like fantasy owners, right? And that's crazy to me because I just don't think this guy has done anything to say that he's irreplaceable at all in his job. And I don't understand why all this hate that we have for quarterbacks who are winning. Like, there's multiple quarterbacks who are winning. Like, every time that Justin Herbert loses a football game, it's always his fault. Or, we lost this week, so now it's Jalen Hurts. And, then you see, hatred, all the hate that came for Daniel Jones. Where is the hate for Kyler Murray? I mean, the people meme about him, but, like, they kind of give this guy a pass, and I just don't know what he's ever done in his whole career to deserve it. It just blows my mind. I don't know. Maybe I'm an asshole. Who knows? It's probably true. But yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think this is last year, 100%. I don't think, and if it's not, then yeah, that's just bigger problems in Arizona. Honestly,
You just become a poverty franchise, Browns and the fucking Jets.
Oh yeah. Buccaneers Seahawks. Okay, did you guys see the clip of Baker Mayfield talking shit in the tunnel?
That was hilarious.
Baker Mayfield is my favorite player in the NFL right now.
I'm convinced that Pan is the reason the Buccaneers won that football game. I'm just gonna say it.
Dude,
you don't fire up Baker Mayfield. You don't, and you face the consequences. It reminds me of when he was at Oklahoma and they played Kansas and they didn't shake that man's hand and he started lighting them up a fucking new one.
Put the flag in the dude. I love it. He's fired up. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me in Cleveland when he was running to the sideline against the Steelers, coming down in the fourth quarter, takes a hit out of bounds. They don't call it. He's sitting there. He gets up, and they're like, oh, he's upset. No, he's fired up. He's like, I love that shit, dude. I love it, bro. Like, he's such a competitor. He's a winner, and he's not a game manager. Dude, he balls out. And like last year, I think he should have been the MVP last year. I said this on the podcast last week. I said it in the first week. He should have been the MVP last year. 4,500 yards, 42 touchdowns to 16 interceptions with a 71% completion percentage. Dude, this guy is legit. He's the MVP of the league right now, and that's a good team that he just dismantled.
Yeah. You just went over his stats. That's just crazy. He's putting up numbers. And you know why? A lot of people thought, Godwin was out a few weeks. Now Mike Evans. Fucking Egbuka, man. Holy shit. This kid is insane. And then you mentioned it before, Bucky Irving was out, but guess what? Rashad White gets 2 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, all right. It's crazy. Levante David had a crazy interception, and that led to that game-winning field goal. All around, there's a good team, man. I think finally Tampa might be. I think we called it in the beginning. We called it early on in our podcast that Tampa was going to be the team to beat. They were probably going to make a deep run. Yeah, I'm sticking with it, bro. If they keep this momentum, just wait till they get. Oh, dude, even what the hell's his name? Sterling Shepard had a touchdown too. Wait till they get Mike Evans back, bro. Mike Evans, fucking Godwin and Puka, throw Sterling in some fucking slant routes, get Rashad and Bucky. I don't really see a team that's going to be able to fucking beat them. And you know what? Seattle played good too. Can't even lie. And Jigba had a pretty good game. Kenneth Walker. This pisses me off all the time, man. I swear to God. Kenneth Walker's on my fantasy team. Kenneth Walker would do a 40, 50-yard run.
Charbonnet.
And guess what? Fucking Charbonnet. Charbonnet will get the touchdown. Like, what the fuck?
I don't understand it because Charbonnet is not a good running back. Why does he keep getting all these looks? Kenneth Walker will actually, I've watched this team play every week for some reason. Kenneth Walker drives them all the way down the field. I mean, he'll catch Kenneth Walker, 8 yards. Rush Kenneth Walker, 22 yards. Catch Kenneth Walker, 17 yards. Okay, we're on the 7. So, lining up in the backfield, Zach Charbonnet. Why? He's terrible. He's terrible. Dude, Kenneth Walker is hitting gaps. Charbonnet is an east-west guy, and he never really, just like a lot of people down in the South in the 1700s, he don't get north. And I just don't understand what's going on with that. The guy just doesn't get yardage. He doesn't punch things in the ends. I mean, he's for a guy they have, goal line formation. He really doesn't punch a lot of things into the end zone. I mean, he stifles a lot of drives, and I just think that it's like this weird thing that they've been doing. It's the last 2 or 3 years they've been doing this. I mean, what are we doing here? So, look, they put 35 points on the board. Sam Darnold has looked consistently good. Tristan Wirfs being healthy and playing like it. That guy's the best in his position in the NFL, man. I mean, the guy's he's also really, really good. He's the best in his position in the NFL, and as much as I like, Jordan Mailata, he's best left tackle in the NFL right now. So, the Buccaneers are going to be there. And I was going to wait for my hot takes, but it's been on my mind, for the last week. Like, this is going to be the most fun season of NFL football for at least since like 2017, 2018 time, because this really feels this year that anybody can win. You know, besides the bottom, I want to say the bottom 6 teams, anybody can do, like, is in a position right now to make things happen. And these divisions are very competitive. You know, as an Eagles fan, I don't want to see the Buccaneers in the playoffs. Even in Philly, I don't want to see them in the playoffs. Baker Mayfield is on a Josh Allen trajectory right now because here's the thing. Leading up into the game where they played the Eagles, he only had 1 less rushing yard than Jalen Hurts did. And that's something he does not get enough credit for either. He can do it with his legs just as good as anybody else. He's got the arm, he's got the toughness, he's got the mindset. These guys can keep finding ways to win games. And, you know, at the end of the year, if they only have 2 or 3 losses, don't be surprised because without Mike Evans, they look great. Imagine what this game looks like with Mike Evans. He makes a huge difference. And the way that you have to scheme defensively for this team is going to change. Who can you stop? Somebody's getting through. Bucky Irving is really developing in the pass game, which is scary. I mean, he looks great in the pass game, which is not something that I thought that he would be. But, I mean, you know, things are looking up in Tampa Bay right now, man.
Yeah, in my opinion, and I hate to say it to you, Dan, but I think the NFC is coming down to Tampa Bay or Detroit, one of the two. Until further notice, I think the NFC is coming down to those 2 teams. And with the Buccaneers' weapons, like I think if the NFC Championship game was between the Buccaneers and the Lions, it would be a matter of who doesn't score last.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it really would be a shootout, like at that point.
Sure.
Yeah, and look,
Hey,
I mean,
Luka,
don't hate to say it at all. Say it with your chest because I agree, bro. The reality of the situation is that the Eagles aren't playing well enough to inspire confidence to think that they're going to be able to win, you know, come playoff time. But at the same time, I think that 4 or 5 weeks from now, people are going to have a different opinion because I think we're going to go 4-1 in the next 5 weeks at the very least, if not 5-0, because I think that, you know, we're just as good. But right now, the Lions and the Buccaneers are playing how they should be playing. Right? And you can't take that credit away from them, no matter how much I would love to. I'm not going to be delusional here. I see what I see, and week in, week out, even against the Eagles, the Buccaneers did not go away. It was tough. It came down to the end in a game where they were down by 14 points. So, look, man, the Buccaneers are not a team I want to see in the playoffs. I have to give credit, though. The Seahawks are definitely a nominally better team than I thought they would be this year. They're a much better team than I thought they would be this year. I wasn't out on Sam Darnold. I think he's a solid quarterback. But Smith and Jigba has stepped up even further. I think they're making that DK Metcalf trade look like, you know, like a great move because Njigba has stepped up and played just as good as any receiver in the NFL so far this year. He's a great player, and I think that he's consistently good. And I think that Kenneth Walker's been consistently good. I think that their defense has been consistently good enough to at least put them in a position to win most of these games, except for this one. But who's going to stop Tampa Bay? So this was 2 good teams playing football, man.
Who was Seattle's quarterback last year?
Geno. That was Geno's last good year, though.
There are definitely a lot of people out there that thought that Geno would have a better year than Sam Darnold this year, and it's not working out for those people. That's for sure.
And that's crazy because I wrote Sam Darnold off.
I didn't. After that Minnesota year, I did not write that man
But
off.
he didn't write back.
He did not. He left me already.
To quote Geno. So, I mean, I feel like we can skip Lions Bengals. I mean, is there really anything to say about this football game? The Lions are a good team. The Bengals are not. I mean,
Smelly. Right.
At one point, this was the one funny thing about the game. At one point, it said that Jamar Chase had like 2 or 3 tackles from an interception, and I could not believe that. That man had cornerback statistics.
So Jamar Chase has more solo tackles this season, as of right now, than Micah Parsons.
That's pathetic. That is literally pathetic.
He has more tackles than Larry Fitzgerald. The whole tackles and drops thing, right? But, so, yeah, moving on. I'm sure Trey Hendrickson's going to resign. He would look really good. He would look really good in Pittsburgh. That's all I'm going to say. So now we have Washington versus Los Angeles. Chris, I want you had some things to say about this one. Let's hear what you got, brother.
Yeah, what I wanted to say on this one is, obviously LA now they lost Hampton, they lost Najee, so they lost both their running backs. Honestly, I think what we need big thing we need to look at was what the hell's his name? Jacory, man, from Washington. That's the big thing I want to touch on. Kid had 2 touchdowns, and Billy. Yeah. And the kid, like I didn't know anything about him. Eckler goes down. My buddy Tommy Tommy was telling me when we went to the game, he was like, "Yo," he was telling me the story. I guess the kid like went to like a JUCO college or like a small college. I think he played a year or two at wherever he played. I like what I saw from the kid. You know what I mean? Like one of those guys is just it comes out of nowhere, is a huge game changer. And another one, I want to admit when I'm wrong. I was talking so much shit. I was like, bro, Debo's like fucking 40. Debo's always hurt. He ain't gonna do nothing. Debo's been lighting it up, dude. I'm not even gonna lie.
Getting no credit.
Yeah,
he gets 0 credit.
Terry McLaurin is hurt, and Debo has been doing the damn thing. And I also saw a stat. I think this was the first game since 2014 Zach Ertz did not have a catch in. Since 2014. So Zach Ertz was not even in this game. You know what I mean? So that's crazy. I guess credit to Debo, credit to Bill. And yeah, the Chargers, they're pretty banged up, man. They started off strong, they lost to us, now they lost to Washington. It's a banged up team. I guess we'll see what happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah, now that you say that, it is pretty disrespectful how Debo's not getting any credit whatsoever. He's currently wide receiver 7 in fantasy football. 7.
Come off. I honestly was like, man, they got him for a 5th round pick. I was like, dude, Debo's always hurt. Debo's fucking. Everyone saw that picture. Like he looked a little out of shape in the preseason or in training camp. I wrote him off. I did, and you know what? I'm biting my words.
Debo from Friday.
Yeah, right. What
he has been playing this well, and I've heard his name mentioned once since the start of the season, ever since the move. And it was a YouTuber named That's Good Sports, who is a Broncos fan. His name is Brandon Perna. Shout out to Brandon Perna. He's if you guys don't watch him, he's great. He's pretty funny. He does week to week stuff. He's pretty. He's got a good channel going over there. So he said Debo Samuel is quietly one of the best receivers in the NFL, and no one's saying anything about it. And that's the thing I don't understand is that this might have actually been the best offseason move in the entire NFL because of the fact that if they don't make that move and Terry McLaurin goes down, this season looks extremely different. Jaden Daniels has a comeback game, and that's great. The reason why I'm not super high on this yet is because the Chargers are going to charger. The bottom was going to fall out. This team, everyone knows that this team. Here's the thing about the Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers can beat anybody, and anybody can beat the Chargers. That is the reality of it. And when it comes time for playoffs, I have absolutely less than, if I could have negative faith in a team in the playoffs, I don't care if they're 17-0. They're a first-round exit to me. They just don't play well in the playoffs. Justin Herbert, you know, he's getting a lot of shit for this game. The whole team looked flat. I mean, the whole team didn't. I mean, they didn't look good. They just straight up didn't look good. And Washington capitalize off their mistakes. If they had a 3-and-out, they would go down and get some points. They would put together drives. They ate a lot of clock. You're not going to score a lot of points when your time of possession is as low as it was, right? I mean, that's just where we're at. I mean, the Chargers are playing the football that the Chargers have played for the last 20 years. I watched that team have Phillip Rivers and LaDainian Tomlinson and still fail to even reach one Super Bowl with that, right? This is a team that has historically struggled no matter how much talent you have. That doesn't mean that I'm out on Herbert and I think he's terrible. I just think that we put too much in the hands of a quarterback when there's an entire team effort going on, and the team lost this game. That whole team lost this game. And Washington looks good. Are they back? People are saying, you know, are they back, this and that? I don't think they ever went anywhere. They just had their quarterback hurt. They're fine. The problem is the NFC East is going to be playing tough this year. Look, Dallas, Washington, and Philadelphia that's not a team that anybody wants. They're not teams that anybody wants on their schedule because they're wild cards. You don't know what's going to happen, right? Anything can happen. They're versatile enough to kind of change the game plan in multiple different ways. So, you know, and I got to give credit to Bill, man. He's not a guy that I was very high on. Like I saw people, especially with fantasy ratings, were having him very high. He wasn't a guy that I particularly loved. But he's proving me wrong. He's playing really good football. Credit where it's due, man. He comes from a small school. He came out and he's producing for a team that needs it. So, you know, all credit to him and Debo, man. Got to give him their props. Absolutely.
What's his actual name? Krosky-Merrick. There you go.
Ja'Cory.
Yeah, I knew when they traded away Brian Robinson Jr. that there was something special about the dude waiting to happen. I mean, again, this is his one breakout game that he's had so far, but Brian Robinson was a solid running back for them. Like solid, and they traded him away to San Francisco for a bag of chips, and now he doesn't see the field ever again because he's behind CMC. But it's still like, I mean, last week was his big moment, and even Tom Brady gave him the his like broadcaster award of the week. So that was
yeah. And he turned into radio when he fucking.
Yeah, he was super. He went to New Mexico then Arizona. Wow, he played Arizona with Scottaboo. No, Arizona State. Never mind.
Arizona State.
No, yeah, Scotty was Arizona State. He went to New Mexico and Arizona, and then before that he went to Alabama State. So, hey man, good for this kid. Fuck it, I like it.
Yeah, man, you got to give it where it's due. So now that we got that out of the way, the two games that I cannot wait to talk about, the two games. I mean, dude, talk about a Sunday night into Monday night. This is one of the best Sunday night into Monday night slates that we've had in a long
Drake
time.
May?
On my
Tom
way
Brady
to
Jr.?
Drake May. All right, look, here's the thing. Here's the thing about
Tom
this.
Brady Jr.?
This team is never out of it, though, right? Like, the Patriots still lose games. Here's the thing. Here's my thing. You want to talk about Drake May, this and that. The biggest X factor is if Christian Gonzalez can stay healthy for the entire season, the Patriots are going to have one of the best defenses in the NFL. That guy is an incredible corner, making plays at the safety level all the way back to the line of scrimmage, tackles in the backfield. Christian Gonzalez is exactly what we thought he was going to be. And if he can stay healthy, I got bad news for this league. And my friend who's a Patriots fan from Oregon, he started being a fan in 2008. We talk shit. Don't worry. We talk a lot of shit about that. And I call him a lot of different things that I can't mention on this podcast here because I don't want to get shut down here before we even get started. But I mean, he said, do you legitimately believe that we have a chance to win this division? And I thought about it before I made a response. Here's the thing.
Sorry, I can look right now. They're 3-2. I did not know they were 3-2. Holy shit!
Right. Now, here's the thing. My response, anything can happen this year. This feels like a year where anything can happen. If the Patriots can stay healthy, especially Milton Williams, shout out Philadelphia Eagles. You're welcome, New England. But they got a shot, man. They have a shot. And look, they just beat the Bills straight up in Buffalo, which was the one that we all had. I mean, everyone had this game as a clear loss. Josh Allen was stifled this game. That defense frustrated him. There was some things that were happening that I did not expect to happen, and I think at all three levels of defense, the Patriots looked very solid. They were playing smart in coverage. They were scoring points when they had to. They had some key drives. They kept the score low because the both teams maintained decent time of possession. This was a game where both teams looked equal in level, and I have to be honest, the way that the Patriots are playing, like I said, is this sustainable? The way that the Patriots are playing is absolutely sustainable. The only problem that I have is that I think Ramondre Stevenson, he needs to lose his job to Travion Henderson. Give Henderson the ball. Let him cook. This kid is making some moves in the open field. I think he deserves about 65% of the carries. And I think it's time to cut the cord with Ramondre Stevenson because he's been as mid gets, and it's time.
Fumbles a lot.
And he fumbles the shit out of the ball, man. He fumbles more than Trevor Lawrence. So
I do like just to add on what you said, dude. I do like that Stephon Diggs was finally involved in this, and hey, man, that made maybe it's because it was a comeback game, but yeah, finally, dude. This guy, we were talking about this, like, where the fuck has he been? This was a big blockbuster trade, and hey, 146 yards on 10 receptions, good for him.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that I was seeing was like just how much leadership that Diggs was showing throughout the game, period. And like, besides the fact that he balled out, like he was just showing leadership in general, which is good to see. Yep, that picture right there. But I mean, before the season, like I wrote the Patriots as the sneaky team to watch out of all the teams in the NFL because they had the best free agency, they had the best draft, and now they have completely built this team to be something huge. Minus Ramondre Stevenson, he is a fumble machine, and I agree he needs to hit the bench harder than he fumbles. So it's this team can definitely I can see them winning this division if the Bills aren't careful with how they play.
The only thing I disagree with
struggle.
The only thing I disagree with what you said is that I think the Giants have had a better draft, but only by this much. Those two drafts were the best drafts. And so I agree with everything you're saying with that. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off, but I think that the Giants did have a good draft as well.
Yeah, and again, what I was getting into was like the Bills, I don't see as a team letting off the gas, but if they do a little bit, New England's right there. New England will be right there the whole season. And it could be the division could be decided by one or two games, and that one game could be in New England, in Foxborough. And if they can come into Buffalo and beat you there, they're not going to give up a game in Foxborough, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and the Patriots' next 6 weeks, Saints, Titans, Browns, Falcons,
Oh
Buccaneers,
my God.
Jets. That's
That's
5-1
is-
right now.
That's 5-1, 6-0 if we're being honest. And if they start giving Trevion Henderson the ball like we've been begging on this podcast here, that's 6-0. That's 6-0. Plain and simple.
That's the only gap in their entire team. That's the only thing that I see in their entire team. I'm just like, Travion Henderson, he's a better player than Rondre Stevenson. That's the only thing.
Yeah, and let's not forget as well, Hunter Henry having a Deebo Samuel season at tight end. He's tight end 3, and nobody's talking about it.
That guy has
So
been
Hunter
good for a
Henry-
while and has not gotten credit.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry has been their number one receiver like the last few years. This year he's been cooking it up too. But yeah, the tight end was their number one receiver. Let's just put it like that. So finally, they got something going on with Diggs. Yeah, Henderson. I like that too, actually.
I want to give
I'm
credit to
I
Kayshon
know it.
Boutte as well. Kayshon Boutte has as a secondary wide receiver. He's been solid all year so far. I mean, he's been a good safety valve for them. He's been making some plays when they need it. I mean, he's also been a guy that's been producing at a consistent basis. He's a guy that no one really had any kind of crazy expectation for, but he's playing good football as well. And so this team as a full offense, they look like it. They're a complete team. They have good defensive players. They have star level talent on that team. They have leadership, right? They have a coach in Vrabel who I think is not going to get the credit he deserves no matter how good they do, but he deserves a lot of credit. And yeah, man, I think that, top to bottom, this team looks good, man. I mean, they do look good, and they're going to be there. Like you said, they're going to be there all year, and their strength of schedule is not hard at all.
No, and yeah, Coach of the Year candidates right now are Mike Vrabel and Jacksonville's.
Oh yeah, Liam Cohen, yeah, absolutely.
Duval?
The most awkward
So speaking of Duval, I was at the bar, surrounded by Jacksonville Jaguars fans. Absolutely electric. The city's getting excited. I have to say, it's very cool. I actually had a conversation earlier in the week with a guy who's a Jags fan at the bar, and I said to him, if I had every dime to my name and I had to bet on a team to win this game, I would bet the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he said, I don't know about that. Why do you say that? And what I said was the reason why is because the Chiefs' offensive line has been poor, which is very uncharacteristic. The Chiefs' secondary under Spagnuolo is very poor right now, which has never been the case. It's not that they're losing games, and I've said this on the podcast, it's the way in which they're losing games. It looks very inconsistent to me, and it looks very uncharacteristic of the Chiefs of late have been. Mahomes is still playing good football regardless, right? I mean, getting out of sacks, the things that he was able to do to keep the team in the game, you got to give the guy credit. As much as I fucking cannot stand the guy, and I always make the joke, his number's 15 because that's how many yards you get if you tackle him. I can't stand it. But
Who's the commentator that always
Chris Collinsworth. Chris fucking Collinsworth. And I mean, I'm watching the Super Bowl. Amanda, my girlfriend, she didn't watch the 2017 Super Bowl. Now she's, last 3 seasons has watched every Eagles game with me. And I'm sitting there listening to this guy talking shit about, I think Corey Clement was out the back of the end. I fucking bet you do, dude. But look, this Jacksonville team, that's the best defense in the NFL right now. The thing is, Devin Lloyd on that play, that is incredibly smart coaching. The new defensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars is doing an amazing job. What an intelligent defense. So on that pick 6, you see Devin Lloyd show coverage, and then he sees Mahomes' eyes, immediately drops back and knows exactly where that route is going to be. That's the type of things that you have to do defensively to stop this Chiefs team. You have to play smart defensive football. And that was such a smart play that resulted in a swing of momentum. They came back from 14-0 down. So now I ask the question to you guys. Do you believe that this Jacksonville Jaguars team is a legitimate Super Bowl contender this year?
So I'm just a natural hater. I'm not gonna lie. I've always thought Trevor Lawrence was garbage, but you know what? They're 4-1 right now. They're gonna compete with the Colts because the Texans are boo-boo. Who's the 4th team in that? Colts,
Texans.
Titans?
Texans and Titans.
Titans, boo boo. So you know what? It looks like they're competing right now, and it's gonna. I think it's gonna come down to those two division games between each other, between the Colts and the Jags. It's gonna come down to that. Whoever takes the division. Super Bowl, maybe. I guess it just it depends what happens. You know, I don't put anything past Josh Allen. You know what I mean? That's I'm high on Josh Allen. I really am. That's just my guy. You know what I mean? Especially when we come to the playoffs. It just depends if Mahomes makes it to the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's a lot of what ifs right now for week 1. Yeah, it's a lot of what ifs right now. In week 5, I guess if we revisit this, let's say week 9 or 10, we'll have more of a probably a little later than that. Honestly, I think this, like Dan said it all night, I think this is a year that's been fucking crazy. It's gonna be crazy for football, where there might be some teams we didn't expect that are gonna fucking take a division or take a wild card spot.
So the playoff picture as it stands right now, which again, subject to change as it usually is, AFC. Number 1 seed, Indianapolis Colts. 2 is the Bills. 3 is the Steelers, lol. 4 is the Chargers. 5 is the Jags. 6 Broncos. 7 Patriots. I don't think a single person on this fucking planet thinks that any of these teams belong in these seeds by this week. I think that you put the Chiefs number 1, the Bills number 2, the Ravens 3, and maybe a couple of those teams here and there, 4, 5, 6, 7. But this
might not win the division. Honestly,
exactly. I mean, it's a crazy year, and that's what I love is the randomness behind it. It's like there's a possibility that you could see Trevor Lawrence in an AFC Championship game. That just blows my mind, or Daniel Jones. That's even worse.
Or they could play each other.
Oh yeah, it could be a Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence AFC Championship game. That would be something to watch. That would be something to watch. Even though I would think the Colts would probably 10-point difference, I think.
I mean, the craziest part is not even that they're in the seating that they're in right now. It's the fact that you're watching these teams and you're like thinking like they're playing good football. Like they're good to watch. It's not like they're just stumbling into wins literally this week, but it's not like they're just stumbling into wins. I mean, these teams are legit. These teams are legit. I mean, dude, the Jags looked fucking good. Trevor Lawrence was making some incredible throws. Thomas Jr. is finally catching the ball, which is great because I wanted to see him turn it around, which was a huge difference. You know, I would like to see ETN get a little bit more involved in the offense. I think that it's not a bad idea to get some checkdowns going a little bit more. We're kind of looking a little bit too far down the field for a quarterback that likes to throw into triple coverage. But look, that team was the better team on Monday night. Make no mistake about it. The Jaguars were a better fucking team. The Chiefs had everything going in their favor, and they still lost the game.
It's because those throwback jerseys, man. I like those throwbacks.
Oh,
shout out, Cooley.
Shout out to Travis Hunter, by the way. Shout out to Travis Hunter. He had a fucking game on both sides of the ball and deserves to get his props for that because people have been very harsh on Hunter. But the thing is when you have a player like that, you have to take some time to figure out what you're going to do because there has never been a guy who's doing what he's doing right now. And you did definitely say that you thought he was going to have a good year, and I was down on him. He deserves credit for this game. Absolutely. I was wrong. That catch that he made, that's a big-time play right there. That's a big-time play. And I'm going to tell you what.
On the technicality, he's the Shohei Ohtani of football. So,
who is the LeBron James of baseball, so... But yeah, man, I mean, it's exciting.
Hey, right tire. He's talking about Hennessy. Fucking LeBron, man. God damn it.
So
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Dude. I mean, the goat's gotta retire at some point, right?
He already did. His name's Jordan.
9 straight rings or 9 straight finals. Anyway, all right.
What's his record?
Doesn't. Okay, but he took guys, dude. It's literally like, hey, you three. It's like, hey, Harrison, Chris, Dan, you guys are in. It's the Eastern Conference Finals. LeBron's like, all right, I'm gonna play 48 minutes and win the game. I mean, dude, Delonte West is literally giving out blowjobs behind Home Depot right now. What are we talking about? Anyway. All right. Man. Game we got to talk about off rep next week because we're going to get into next week here. I do want to talk a little bit more about preview stuff this week because the last couple of weeks we ran long with segments and stuff like that, which is fine. But there's definitely some games this week that I really want to talk about because I think this actually has a potential to be a really fun slate here. So we have Eagles-Giants on Thursday. Here's the thing. If you asked
Tomorrow.
me before this Broncos game, I would think that it would be close. After the things that have taken place this week and the way that things are and that tension's starting to rise, I think the Eagles are going to play really, really pissed off. And I think Saquon Barkley is going to have his first 100-yard game of the season. I think that A.J. Brown is going to have his breakout game, and I think that this team is going to absolutely light up the Giants. And the reason why I feel like this is because I think they would absolutely light up any team they play this week because they are fucking pissed. And everybody's now back in that. They got out of that. We're undefeated, and now all of a sudden there's something to prove again. And if there's anything I know about this team, it's whenever they felt like they've had something to prove, they absolutely demolish the team that they play that week.
Hey, quick question, Dan. Your last game of the season last year was in MetLife, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Saquon did not play.
Mm-hmm.
So
For
this
the
is
record.
Saquon's first at MetLife since he left the Giants.
No.
Ooh, I don't know. I think
No,
it's
they
gonna be a
they
2-1
played in Philly. They played in
Yeah.
Philly at the end of the year.
Last year,
He played MetLife last year, and he said, "I just smoked that boy." You remember that, Mike? Up? I do.
Okay, all right. Well, either way,
I get your
Saquon
point,
and
yeah.
MetLife. Saquon and MetLife. I think he puts up some numbers.
May God bless
Sorry.
his ACL. May God bless.
Ooh.
Giants
Hey,
money line.
I'm praying for McCaffrey because he goes to MetLife Week 9, and we all know he's literally going to sacrifice half the crowd to stay healthy in that game.
They had to sacrifice Nick Bosa for him to stay healthy. Look, I think here's the thing. I think if they have Malik Neighbors in this game, it looks a little bit different because the Eagles secondary has been rough this year. So if there was ever a game as a Giants fan that you really, really want Malik Neighbors, it's this one, and not having him is going to completely rule out any possibility in my mind that the Giants are going to win this game. I do think that this is an opportunity for Jackson Dart to show how legit he really is, because if he comes out and plays a good game against this defense, they're, say what you will about their numbers right now, the Eagles defense is smartly coached and has a lot of really, really smart, tough football players. So if Jackson Dart comes out and he has a good game, regardless of the result, we're feeling good about it. I'm excited to watch Scadaboo play, and also, when you're on a short week like this, anything can happen, right? We're on a short week. I'm not going to, that's a huge fucking difference. We act like it's not a Thursday game after a Sunday. It can go a lot of ways, but I got to be honest, man, every time this Eagles team has something to prove, whatever team they play happens to get demolished. And this one has a little bit of extra motivation from, Saquon on this one too. So I really, really feel like we're going to come out firing at this team, and I just don't think that we're ever going to let up in this game. I mean, I really think this is our first statement victory of the year.
Giants money line.
Smash the over on Saquon.
I'm going under. Fuck it.
Nuke the spread. Nuke the spread.
But yeah, I mean, as I think that I just don't see. Look, Neighbors not being there is a huge difference, and I just don't see a way. I mean, what is the Giants' path to victory here? What is their win condition here? And the reality is, let's be honest, is if the Eagles beat themselves like they did against the Broncos with those terrible fucking self-inflicted wounds, which has been a problem all year. And I'm not just going to say that after we lose. It's been a problem all year long. We're giving up so many yards.
So Neighbors is obviously out. Slayton isn't going to be playing. So Wan'Dale Robinson right now is our wide receiver 1. Our Bo Collins is our practice squad guy, wide receiver 2. We don't really have any. We don't really have any wide receivers, so we're probably going to do a 2 tight end with Bellinger and Theo Johnson. Tyrone Tracy, it looks like he might be coming back. I like what I see from Scadaboo. He's obviously upset. Him and Dart are upset. They have something to prove too after that last game. Should have won. I'm just hoping for a good game. I really am. I'm not going to speak on a win or a loss. You know what I mean? Obviously, you guys are a really good team, but let's just. I hope both teams have fun. How about that?
I'll have fun. So next one, an interesting game, the 9:00 game. I think this is in London. It is the Broncos versus the Jets. I think this game. I think that this is actually going to be a really good game, and I think the Jets are going to win this game. I do.
I'm gonna. You know what? Let's do it. Let's start doing picks, man. All right. Let's start doing. How do we tally this?
We'll do some pickups. So first of all, I'm gonna go Eagles I'm gonna go by a score of 31-17. I think the Eagles are gonna win. I'm
not gonna do scores,
which is being
but
fair.
I'll go Giants.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Broncos. You know what? I'm gonna go Broncos.
I'm going Jets on this one. I think the Jets are going to win that game. So you all right now? Now third party. You do your picks here. I want to see because he's the voice of reason here. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we're a little biased.
I like being that, even though I'm a Steelers fan. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go 33-21 Eagles in that one. And then the Jets and Broncos. I think the Broncos still pull this one out, honestly, because they're a playoff caliber team, and I mean Jets can keep up with them, but
Let me write this down.
as good as we say the Jets are, they're still 0-5 for a reason. About to be 0-6, so I think Broncos take that one. And
I think they beat themselves.
I would say it's a low scoring game. I think it's like a 19-14 type of game.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a weird score game, and the Jets are involved in more of those than I think than anybody else. Those weird score games. Seahawks Jags, dude. I'm gonna go Jags in like a big win here. I think the Jags are gonna win by 2 tutties. I do because here's the thing, man. That defense is on fire right now, and you would think that the way that they were winning games with turnovers wouldn't be sustainable, but they just keep getting them. And they keep finding ways to pull out wins. Trevor Lawrence is not playing bad enough to really nullify what's going on. Now Thomas Jr. is starting to get in his stride a bit. You can change up the game plan and game plan now. You can see you can game plan Trevor Lawrence in the pass game, and you can scheme for a run. So they can kind of play the game how they want, which is not a thing they've been able to do for a while. I think the Jags are going to actually, especially with all that momentum, here's the thing about Jacksonville. Now that there's a reason for them to show up, these fans will start showing up to these games. It's not just going to be Monday night games against the Chiefs. You're going to see a lot of Jags fans in the stands here. So, and that stadium, by the way, that was the loudest I've heard a stadium be in quite some time in that Chiefs game. They were loud. They were coming out. They were hyped up. This city's really rallying against this, rallying for this team. I think the Jags are going to win this one by 2 tuds, man. I really do think they're going to pull this win out.
Yeah, I agree. Currently, it's not like it's a big spread of a difference, but Seattle is the 1.5 favorites to win this game, but I don't see that. I don't agree with it, especially the way Jacksonville's been playing and coming off of a win like that versus the Chiefs. I feel like it's not a shootout, but like almost creeping up to a shootout because they're both 2 very defensive teams. I think it's like a 28-24.
They play in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
In Jacksonville.
So you guys both going Jags? I'm going to go Seahawks.
Go against me a third time, Chris. Go ahead.
He's going to go against our picks every single time, and when he goes 0-16, maybe we'll be okay.
You mean like the Saints should have been if they didn't play that one New York team?
Yeah, that's some bums. Let's see,
All right.
Chargers, Dolphins.
Chargers, Dolphins. I mean, you gotta have. I mean, the thing is, right? I don't think this one's gonna be as. This one's gonna be close again because the Chargers just came off a terrible week. I mean, they just that whole team looked bad. I'm still going Chargers on that one though, because the Dolphins look worse.
I'm gonna say this is my little thing about these kind of games. Something smells, and I'm picking Miami. Something smells.
Whoa.
It's Tua's carcass that they're rolling out into the field.
I like that one. All right, let's see. Rams, Ravens. There's only one option.
The Rams.
All right, I'm good with that. What are you guys going, Rams?
Yeah, no. Cooper Rush is a quarterback. No, come on.
All right, Colts, Cardinals.
Rams, yeah. Colts blowout, absolute blowout. This is going to be a college score here. It's going to be like a 48-3 type thing.
This is a Colts Raiders part 2 in the same division. Colts by a mile.
We all agree with this one. Cowboys, Panthers.
Wait, you think Rico Dowell gets revenge and runs 300 yards?
Carolina.
I was gonna say I'm going Carolina, man. I'm going Carolina.
I don't love the Cowboys this year. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I will give them credit as much as I fucking hate them. I mean, dude, if I had a fucking gun and Jerry Jones, Stalin, and Hitler were in a room and I had 2 bullets, I mean, I know who I'm, gonna twice. But look, here's the thing. They're just not consistent. They're not consistent. They haven't been consistent all year, and I think that Carolina coming off a week like that, Rico Dowdle has a reason now, and the team's having a level of confidence in him. Yeah, I think it's Carolina this week, and they're in Carolina too. So I mean, we might be very, very wrong, and we'll probably tell by the first quarter the way this entire game is going to go, in my opinion.
Which way you going, Croc?
honestly, as I'm the same way. I can't stand Dallas, even though I'm married to a Cowboys fan. But I'm gonna stick with Dallas on this one, just because overall offensively they're just a better built offense, and Carolina, I don't see it. I might be wrong, but I mean, George Pickens has been balling out since CD went injured, and I don't think that's going to change. So I'm going to go with Dallas.
All right, Pat Saints.
Next
I'll go
question. Next question. I mean,
Yeah, next question. That's a next question for me.
yeah, we're on to Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati.
That's not a question either.
Yeah, we're on to Cincinnati.
Joe Flacco is going to die and get carted off the field because of that offensive line.
Oh, I
What
mean,
game
like
you guys
that
got
that wasn't the next game. I was just making fun of Bill Belichick, but yeah,
Oh,
I mean, yeah. So next, I mean, it's Pats, 100%. But Browns, Steelers.
I'm going Browns.
I'm going Browns too, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. Honestly, look, here's why.
Because I'm here.
Because the Steelers have not been scoring a lot of points this year in total, and the Browns have also been holding some decent offenses to low scoring games. And like a divisional matchup, it's funky in here. I do think the Browns absolutely are gonna. I mean, I feel like they have a good shot to win this one because these are two teams that are just keeping scores low.
Crocs, who are you choosing?
All right. Well, I will never bet against my team. I will never choose against my team. What I will say is, in these type of situations, when the Steelers are heavily favored to beat a certain team, named the Cleveland Browns, they are known as the Mike Tomlin trap games. And the Mike Tomlin plays down to teams that don't deserve it every single time. And we are 6.5-point favorites. I will say that I will pick the Steelers because I have a flag behind me and a jersey on, and I won't pick against them. But you do with that information as you will.
Oh, so you think 17-0? You're gonna you would say 17-0 if you had the opportunity.
I would say 17-0, even if we started 0-16.
Well, so now we have not the Battle of Midway. This is the Battle of Mid. The Titans versus the Raiders.
I'm going Cam Ward.
I'm picking the Titans as well. I'm picking the Titans. Now he's like, wait, this is what winning feels like? I want to do that shit. And honestly, he should go in the media and say, well, the Raiders are ass. I think the Titans are going to win this game too because Geno Smith is playing at the same level as my high school quarterback back in Pennsylvania, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick the Titans, but they might make me regret that because Callahan needs to get fired like tomorrow. So
Yeah, Crocs.
Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and also pick the Titans on this one, just because Cam Ward just tasted victory, and he does not want to taste a loss anytime soon. Geno is gonna throw 3 interceptions plus at this point, and Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers would decide if the Raiders keep this close. Nobody else. And
I like this one right here. Niners, Bucks.
Oh, that's a good game. That is a
Bucks.
Okay.
That's a 3:30. 3:30 Central, but that's a good game. That is a great game to watch.
I'm going Bucks too, but I wouldn't be upset if you went Niners.
Nah,
Bucks. I mean, look, the Niners. Look, here's the thing. The Buccaneers defense is better than the Rams defense, even without Nick Bosa, in my opinion. And that was a very close game. But the Buccaneers offense is the hottest offense in the NFL with, in my opinion, the best player in the NFL other than Puka Nacua, which is Baker Mayfield. And I just don't see how the Niners are going to be able to stop them. I just don't.
Yeah, I agree. Buccaneers by a long. Even the spread's 2.5, which I think is too small. I think that's too small because Mac Jones is playing again. Like, yeah, he had a good game last week, but Buccaneers, I don't think so.
Oh, by the way, I just want to say real quick, Kyle Schwarber just hit another home run. Phillies up 8-1.
Fuck.
Phillies are up.
8-1 in the 8th inning.
Wow. R.I.P. to the Yankees. Good luck, I guess. That's cool or whatever.
Oh,
Yankees lost.
All the Dodgers fans are leaving. How about that?
That's crazy. Yeah, no, we're done.
Bengals, Packers.
Packers.
I'm going Bengals. Joe
Yeah.
Flacco. Let's do it. Let's do it, bro.
Yeah, I'm going Green Bay.
Green
Micah Parsons
Bay-
is gonna have 3 sacks, bro. You have a guy in Flacco who looks like Roethlisberger in his last season, standing there like the fucking Rocky statue. Parsons is gonna rip this dude's legs off and feed it to the wolves. All right, this is a fucking.
All you have to do is just get it to T, get it to Jamar. That's all you gotta do. I'm going Bengals. Next question: Lions, Chiefs.
The Lions, and the Lions are gonna blow out the Chiefs. The Chiefs are not a good team.
Lions by a human long shot. That's another. Is that hate wash of the week? I think so.
Any game that Patrick Mahomes plays is a hate watch for me because he doesn't deserve to be on that argument with other quarterbacks because he gets protection that no NFL quarterback has ever gotten before. So for me, he will always have an asterisk. I think Barry Bonds is a more legitimate home run king than Patrick Mahomes is as a great quarterback. But
okay, that's where I draw the line. Barry Bonds' home run record should not be legitimate whatsoever.
More than Mahomes winning Super Bowls that the NFL wants him to win because he's marketable. Anyway, we can argue about this later. I have pages.
Pages.
Oh yeah.
All right, Bills, Falcons.
I mean, by how many touchdowns? You want 4 or 5, 6, 10? I mean, this Josh Allen coming off a loss and then playing the Falcons. That's a pretty tough day to be in Atlanta. That's a Monday night game.
Yeah.
By the way.
Poor Michael Penis.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, so Penix is my second favorite left-handed black quarterback that's played for the Falcons, whose last name is one off a word for phallic member. So still gonna lose this game by 4 touchdowns. The Bills are just gonna crush this team. Let's be honest.
And you know what? I'm surprised. I'm gonna let you guys answer this one first. I already know what I'm gonna go with.
Chicago.
Bears. I'm going Chicago.
Nah, Washington.
I like it.
As soon as that knee brace comes off of Jaden Daniels, I think that's when they really hit the ground running. Washington.
Jaden Daniels looking like every girl that played field hockey in our high school.
Every cheerleader.
Always got a fucking knee brace on them motherfuckers, I swear to God. But yeah, I mean, so now what is traditional that we do, and I think we can start having we can start having our records. I can keep an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, even though I'm already not doing the bare minimum here, let's be honest. We can start keeping our Pick'ems records throughout the year just to see who kind of adds the best. Yeah, okay.
I'll do it. How about that?
Hell yeah, I fuck with that. So now what we do, which is accustomed, and I have to say that Chris's takes are pretty cold. He actually keeps them pretty fair, but they're not cold. He just frames them in a very kind way. I'm harsh with this. I want you to just, good or bad, this week it doesn't matter. What are your hottest takes right now that you absolutely believe that are just, to some people, might seem crazy?
For the week or for the season?
Just for the week, for the season, anything that you got on your mind right now.
Oof. All right. Damn, that's a tough one. I think the hottest. Like I said in the beginning, I think my hottest take is the Colts win the AFC.
It's fair.
I think people are starting to grow into that idea just because of how the Bills just lost. The Chiefs are not the Chiefs right now, and those are the two teams that always come neck and neck at the end of the season. So I would say, the Colts winning the AFC is my hottest take of the year.
Okay, what else you got? What are other things that you've wanted to talk about? Just in general, like hot takes. It could be a hot take, anything that you really want to talk about you feel like is not being talked about enough. It can also be another hot take. That's fine.
Shoot, I mean, the whole quarterback situation in Cleveland needs to get figured out by the end of this year, because I feel like even if they brought Shedeur in and he underperforms, do you go get another quarterback in the draft next year and just add to the gauntlet? Cleveland needs to figure out their quarterback situation yesterday. Well, obviously 10, 20 years ago. Not that I want them to, because that's the reason. But
enlighten me. What's up with Deshaun Watson? Is he back next year? What's up with that?
I completely forgot that he was even there.
Yeah,
that's
like is he,
their
is he
quarterback.
I know
That's
he has the
not-
crazy contract. Is he back? Like what's up with
So
that?
they have him on
No,
like
he
a
tore-
pup list. They have him on a pup list kind of thing. But the thing is that for them to get rid of him would be like an astronomical amount in dead cap space. So they're kind of just going to keep him in limbo until they can throw away the body somewhere in the Las Vegas desert. So that's kind of what's going on with that. And the only team that I would think that would pick him up would probably be the maybe a prison team that Henry Ruggs might be playing on right now or something. I don't know, but he might be wearing orange next year, but I don't think it's going to be about Cleveland. I think it might be about like Cleveland Penitentiary. So, look,
Long time. Ni hao.
Guangdong
The
Tiger.
Guangdong Tigers.
Ni hao, ni hao, ni hao. How can you not love Shaq, dude?
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you got? What are your hot takes, Chris? What do you got?
Shit. Fuck it. Baker MVP. I think that's the one I'm leaning more towards. And I think the Giants win tomorrow, man. I do. Fuck it. I'm high. I'm on a high right now. Look at his face. I'm on a fucking high right now, bro. Fuck it. You know, Yankees lost. Somebody's got to give me something.
You don't put 50 on it?
Fuck it. Let's do it.
Ooh. Invisible handshake.
But like,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really see too much this week that like changed my mind on anything. You know what I mean? Everything was pretty much subpar, from what we've been talking about. You know, we know the Colts are playing. That just solidified Jonathan Taylor is just like if he's going, that's awesome. That Colts defense is amazing. The Jags, I guess that kind of changed my a little bit. You know, what I mean? Definitely did not know the Patriots were 3-2. Holy shit, that blew me.
I got another hot take that I just thought about as well. Puka Nacua MVP.
I don't think a wide receiver would get it.
if Saquon
you-
did something that
you
only
certainly-
8 people in the history of the NFL have ever done and still didn't even get in the top 2 for it, there is no fucking way he's going to get it. But I agree, for the record.
If he got the first 2,000-yard receiving season in NFL history, like Baker would be his competition right now, maybe even JT. But other than that, like I think he's got a good shot at it if he keeps the momentum. I think that's definitely my hot take of the year. Puka Nacua for MVP.
I also think that we should have a most valuable quarterback award and then a most valuable player award, and somebody can win both. But I think that it really, every year, especially with the Hall of Fame, guys like Jason Taylor getting in, right? It kind of lessens the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Like, look, I like Eric Allen. Didn't watch him that much live. Obviously, I was, too young for his time. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's an Eagle. He's not a Hall of Famer, right? There's too many guys that are getting the Hall of Fame that lessens it. There are too many guys that are winning the MVP that are lessening it. Like, look, last year Saquon Barkley was the best player in the NFL, and it wasn't close. You cannot do better at your job than he did last year in his job, and he didn't even sniff it. And the only other guy that deserved it, that you could argue, in my opinion, was Baker, and yet it's Lamar and Josh Allen. It's like they're pushing a narrative, they're pushing marketability. They're trying to get those markets.
Joe Burrow, man.
Huh?
Joe Burrow threw for like Joe Burrow had a crazy
Joe Burrow
season.
outthrew both Josh Allen and Lamar. He deserved that
Joe
award.
Burrow had a great season, bro. That team was just horrible.
And I don't disagree with that either, but again, he wasn't even, the top. He wasn't even in the top 2 for that. There's honestly, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, neither one of them deserved it. And when people started talking about it being between those 2 people, there's narratives being pushed here, which is the reason why a lot of players struggle to be able to get the credit they deserve, because the narrative has become so important, right? Which is why sports journalism has gone down an absolute tube, because it's all about hot takes and saying crazy things that get clicks on Instagram rather than actually putting in sports analysis to a high level like what we saw. So, yeah, I mean, this season's crazy. I do believe that the Chiefs, for the first time, will not make it to the AFC Championship. I also don't believe that they're going to play a single home playoff game if they even make it. I still believe that the Chiefs, I'm sticking with my call that the Chiefs are not going to have a winning record at the end of this year. I still am sticking with that. I said that since week 1 or week 1 we talked about that. I said that. So maybe I'd need a job in the NFL to some degree, something like that. My hot take right now is that it's going to be the Bears and not the Packers that come out of the NFC North in second place. I think that they played more consistent ball, and the strength of that Packers team was supposed to be their defense, and their defense is not looking very, very strong. I mean, even Micah Parsons, week 1, the first week he came out and played, he was living in the backfield. Ever since then, where the fuck has he been? Right? That's something people haven't been critical enough of. His solo tackling hasn't been there. He's still a liability in the run game as he's always been. That trade is looking better and better for Dallas, as much as I hate to admit it. I mean, to be honest. So I think that it's going to be the Bears coming out of there. And I think that this isn't even a hot take anymore. Just in general, my observation is that I think that the game I'm most excited for this season, and I can't believe I'm saying it, this year's Brady Manning game, it almost feels like, which is, I mean, ridiculous that it has some level of truth, is the Colts versus the Jags, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's a game I can't wait for. I mean, it's December 7th. They play in Jacksonville. I might be going to that game, to be honest with you. And
You should. I would go there in a heartbeat.
That's going to decide that division. It's going to be those two games.
I mean, if we could Back to the Future
That's a
the
potential
shit.
AFC championship.
Unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable.
No,
And
that's
they're both,
gonna decide
yeah,
the division. The
unbelievable.
Titans and Texans, I don't think are going to win against either team. So it's going to be whoever takes those two, I guess, both games.
Yeah.
That's going to decide the division.
I think that's going to decide that conference.
The whole AFC
Yep.
in general?
Yep.
Wow. So you're just running off the road?
Because the question marks, because the thing is everyone's talking about Daniel Jones. Everyone's talking about, what Trevor Lawrence did. Those defenses are playing fucking super smart football right now. And that's consistent. And the thing is, they may let up points, but when it came down to key drives, they're getting stops when they need to. Their special teams have made some pretty good plays. And they're taking advantage of people's mistakes. And the Jags are forcing teams to make a lot of mistakes right now. So, yeah, no, I think that's going to decide that conference. There is no other team in the AFC that's inspiring as much confidence in me right now as those two teams in a week-to-week basis. They've done it since week 1, and it hasn't slowed down. So, yeah, I really do believe that. And, yeah, my last hot take, again, is that I think the Buccaneers are going to have the most wins in the NFL this year.
Buccaneers.
I'll agree.
So yeah, that's that. Is there anything in closing statements? Anything you guys want to get off your chest? Could be anything in sports, anything you guys are passionate about, you want to talk about, or anything that's been on your mind that you just gotta let the people know about.
No, I think this was good, man. Crocs, thanks for being here. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely dope. We're just here having a good time. We're just a few guys having a good time, and obviously, I know you said you want to bring some guys down in from Jacksonville. You said you want to bring some of those guys on. Yeah, man, just get some different people from different teams and get different insights, and just shoot the shit. I had a great time. I'll have a good time.
New England guy I can bring in here as well if need be.
No, I mean, yeah, this is really what we who the fuck is that? Dallas Goddard?
Nope, that's Trey Burton throwing the Philly special hand sign with the play. Or I'm gonna show him that.
Oh, you know what? I got one last thing for you, Dan. You're gonna love this. You are going to love this. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, Chris knows about this. I had this website that I go on to bid on like autographed memorabilia, and
Goodbye.
they were doing they were doing a mystery box where you get a random player out of 75 autographs. It was like 20 high caliber autographs.
Is
like
this pristine
10
auction?
bid. Yes, pristine auction.
I do that too. Yeah, go ahead.
And I got a mystery box for $100, and the autograph that was inside when I opened it up was Saquon Barkley.
What was it on?
An
He has a
Eagles
signed
jersey.
An Eagles jersey?
Yes, sir.
How much do you want for it?
I'll take 4.
We're gonna talk about that because that's pretty fair. My girlfriend's favorite player is Saquon Barkley. She loves him. I've been looking. So they had the shadow box with the Barkley jersey that was signed, but it was Giants and it had a little digital screen on it, but it was like $850, and I wasn't gonna do that for a Giants jersey. So I do really, really want that. So we will talk about that actually. But that's a fair price.
It has its own authenticity sticker on it and everything too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to need that from you, pretty bad. But you made up pretty good with that. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I just want to say, I want to formally do this because I did message you about this. I would like to invite you as the third member of the podcast on a weekly basis as well as you can do it if you'd like to.
Of course, I'm all in.
Absolutely, because I think it's perfect because first of all, PA teams, you know, I mean, we got to stick together. You know, if the Steelers are in it and the Eagles are out, I always like to root for you guys. But yeah, I feel like having a voice of reason, somebody who's not in the NFC East, is also a good thing. And you know, you're just as passionate about ball as us, man. And it was so fun talking to you, hearing your takes and stuff like that. I think this is great. So I'm really glad that you're able to do this, man. It's nice to finally have like a lengthy conversation about things with you and get to meet you a little bit more and everything. So. Yeah, man. Next week, if you guys can do Wednesday, I think that would be great. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been House Divided Podcast, episode 4. And we will see you guys next week. Drop some comments below if you have any crazy takes. And again, list your top 5 quarterbacks for the week. We're going to do this every week. If you don't have Jalen Hurts, you're wrong, and I will argue with you for hours. All right. See you guys later. Boom.